really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, mother... What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way. Close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
My God, let me tell you this. The only show in America that 2 days in a row have themselves a temporary number, everybody. Listen, I wear that with a badge of honor because I know that our engineers, sans Carl, to my left right here, are just doing a kick-ass job to make sure that we get to you. And I'm going to give you a great example of why you need and why local is so important. I say this all the time. Without our particular local angles, nobody gives a big fat crap what you care about in sports. I mean, just nobody does. Nobody else does but us. And that's why we give you 9 hours of stuff that you care about every day, because nobody else cares about you. Oh, yeah, when Andrew Luck, 5 seconds before the start of the season, decides to retire and the vultures all swoop in, they may care then. But it's not long-lasting. We, on a daily basis, care about what you care about. And I thought last night was a tremendous example of that in terms of news and breaking news and of jacket-off weather. And if you witnessed it again, I'm hoping everybody, I know that there was structural damage throughout the area, not just in northern Marion County, but in Boone County, over in Hendricks County, around Brownsburg, other spots, even outside of the donut counties of Marion County. There was some damage. Last night was a hell-raising type of evening. But what last night should also show you, actually two things. One is you guys absolutely are in love with the term jacket off weather. And if anybody else ever tries to steal that, make sure they know where that began, by God. It was right here years ago with jacket off weather. You had Brian Wilkes, jacket off. You had Chris Wright, jacket off. I mean, that's where we were last night. But in all seriousness, what we all did notice last night was how important the local angle is for you. And we can sit around and joke about and have opinions about sports all day long, and that's great. But last night was big-time information that everybody needed. Really, no matter in central Indiana, southern Indiana, north central Indiana, no matter where you were, you needed this information because your situation was going to be affected by the weather. And that's how you know that localized programming is always going to be the best and is always out there for you. I looked across the board. I should also mention Sean Ash of Channel 13. But across the board, it was a fantastic job out of everybody. I mentioned Brian Wilkes of 59, Chris Wright of Channel 4, CBS 4, I should say, Sean Ash, and it wasn't just them, but that was the type of evening, again, that magnifies the point that I try to make to you all the time, and the reason why we are who we are. We are localized for you. Last night it was localized for you, and it was incredibly necessary to help keep everybody safe. And here's hoping that almost now a day later, everybody is safe and sound, even if maybe you're dealing with property damage or structural damage. Hopefully not, but if you are, here's hoping everybody is safe and sound. And again, another reason why localized programming is so necessary. And I want to tip my cap to everybody last night. Those were long hours, even across the hall, where I'm not right now, but normally across the hall at 93 WIBC. John Herrick and company, they were working ass off to make sure that they have you as aware as possible on what is inbound weather-wise to keep you safe. And last night, I thought that it's one of those nights where you kind of reflect on what you do, and those are the nights, those are the days when the job is well done. I mean, I can jackass around an interview all day long, and that's great, and have an opinion about the Pacers of the Colts and their quarterback situation all day long. But last night was incredibly important for everybody. And I could not be more proud to be in this community to see how those that have the information and try to keep you safe and keep you knowledgeable about what's going on, how they responded, and it was top-notch. It truly was. So, again, shout-out to everybody regarding that last night. Pacers a win last night. That was like kind of business as usual, and what's interesting about it is it's been far from that with the first two matchups with Charlotte. They have been a tremendous pain in the ass for the Pacers this year, and it's weird because they suck. They stink, and they've been a pain in the ass, and you saw the Pacers dispose of them in a fashion that is certainly appropriate for a team that is good, for a team that is the 4 seed in the East, and for a team that is now charging down the path to get to the postseason and hopefully end up hosting some games in round number 1 with that 4 seed. So you get another crappy team in Utah coming up tomorrow night. You get serious on Sunday at 8 o'clock in Denver. You know, the last time I went to that Nuggets-Pacers game when it was here a little over a month ago, and watching Jokic play is absolutely incredible because it is so much more vivid and impressive live than he's even given credit television-wise. It's amazing. I mean, it really is. And that is going to be a gauge. Like, tomorrow night is just something, don't jack around and mess around with a team that you shouldn't mess around with. Kind of like last night. But Sunday is going to be one of those gauges where, hey, this is what the postseason is going to look like. And the last time you were up against a postseason team, OKC, you didn't look that good. You didn't look that good almost a week ago Saturday, so it'd be nice on Sunday against Denver if you brought it a little bit. Man, it is always good. People talk about momentum. Is it true? Is it false? It is absolutely true. Momentum is right up there because momentum is equal to confidence. You get momentum. You play even harder when you're confident. When you're sucking and you're missing jumpers and dudes are scoring on you at will, like you're a turnstile, there's not a damn thing fun about that. And that's not going to give you any momentum. In fact, that's going to test your will. But developing momentum, that is a real deal because momentum equates or is created from a level of confidence that is necessary to have a prolonged postseason, and hopefully the Pacers will. We'll get into the Pacer conversation from last night. Jeremiah Johnson, Pacers Television, joins us coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Local legend, friend of the show, Billy Shepard, former Mr. Basketball, has got an event coming up, and I love having Billy on the show. Billy's going to join us coming up in the 4 o'clock hour as well. 5 o'clock hour, Mike Chappell will talk about the whole Colts competition at quarterback. Is it truly a competition when so far both quarterbacks aren't good? It's a competition of who's going to be the best of the two that aren't any good. But we'll talk about that with Mike Chappell coming up. That and a couple of things from yesterday that transpired. One was, if you listen to me and Kevin Bowen, my point of what is necessary with this Colts team moving forward. And that is to have an overall overseer organizationally, a director, a vice president of football operations, not just a general manager, not just a head coach, but more than that. And I think Mike Chappell was one that disagreed with me on this point going back about 6 months ago. And I brought this up again yesterday. We'll do that with Mike coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. Flaming Lips, Modest Mouse, Everwise Amphitheater, tickets for you as well. I do coming up after 6 o'clock tonight. That is going to be in instant replay, a conversation with John Waite. John Waite is going to be live at Hendricks Live in Plainfield. Of course, John Waite, Missing You, that classic, Change, Vision Quest, 80s, that classic, The Babies, Bad English, and just an overall good dude. He's going to be here twice in the next 3 months. Tomorrow night, Hendricks Live. If you've never been there, that's a great facility. And then coming up in June at the new facility in Fishers, the event center. It is called I Want My 80s, featuring Rick Springfield, Paul Young, Wang Chung, and John Waite. And John's going to be on the show, I think, coming up at some point in the 6 o'clock hour. I think Jake's going to join us down here for a cocktail or two in just a little bit. And Jason Logan of Covers.com is back for the Final Four and the national semifinals beginning on Saturday. We talked to Ian Eagle, the voice of the Final Four, yesterday. That podcast at 1075thefan.com. And Jason Logan is coming on because I felt it was a special day and a special time to do so, because our own betting analyst, Brent Holverson of Heaven Hill Distillery, is with us live at Coach's Tavern downtown on this Thursday. Covers.com, are you familiar with the work?
Absolutely, very familiar. I've used Covers.com as a site for many years, so I'm actually excited to chat with him a little bit.
I got to thank you guys, because I think normally without Tommy S., who we'll talk to in just a second here at Coach's Tavern, without you guys saying we need a show on Thursday, I'd be sitting in studio with James. James didn't even go with the man bun today. So no man bun for James in studio. And as much as I love every bored out of my mind, but instead I'm cocktailing things up. We're at Coach's Tavern downtown. We're with you and our good friend. Is that Tommy S.
That
sitting right
Tommy
across from us right there?
Always a pleasure.
Tommy S., greetings and salutations to you, my good man.
Hey, welcome back to Coach's. I know it's only been 6 days, but it's never enough.
It's never. I'm going to tell you what, that's still too long. Maybe we should have been here on Monday or Tuesday too, right?
Maybe
maybe.
Just relocate your studio.
There you go.
How about we do that right there? Yeah, right there.
Forget about Ryan Alley up there. He didn't need all the show.
So what do we think about today? I know we got games coming up on Saturday. NIT final is later on tonight. That's Chattanooga and UC Irvine. I know a lot of people are Anteater fans, given the fact yesterday Russell Turner came on, their head coach, and was absolutely outstanding on the show. But that is later on tonight at 9 o'clock. What else are we talking about?
Well, we've got an old school country concert tonight at Gainbridge. You got Brooks and Dunn.
Is that Brooks and Dunn?
Yeah.
Where does Boot Scoot Boogie rank all time in country songs?
It's got to be up there, right? You know, you could actually go through all their
Here we go, do-si-do.
Here we go, do-si-do.
Come on, baby, let's go.
Boot Scoot Boogie. Was that fun in Seymour back in the day? Did you guys dance to Boot Scoot Boogie?
There was a little Boot Scoot done.
Is there actually a dance to Boot Scoot Boogie?
I'm sure there's something out there. I've never done it, but you could probably. Hey, there's a YouTube video for everything.
Yeah.
Right?
So are they the greatest country duo of all time? Because I don't even know a lot of country duos.
I think they have the most number one hits of any country duo.
How many country duos are there, though? Are there very many?
You got what? Who is the mother and daughter?
The Winona, the Judds.
The Judds, yeah.
The Judds, there's another one. So they're more popular than the Judds?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But
I'd have to as well.
For 'em?
Who?
There might be little dust on the bottle. David Lee Murphy.
David Lee Murphy.
When was the last time you heard that name?
That is a class. That's a classic.
Like 1993.
It is. That's like a Coach's Tavern song right there. Late Night on the Jukebox. Is it not right there?
It gets played an awful lot. It's popular.
I bet that it does. So that's at Gainbridge Fieldhouse later on tonight.
Tonight and tomorrow we got the Pacers back in action hosting the Utah Jazz, who I think have the worst record in the league.
They stink, much like Charlotte stunk last night, too.
The Pacers can dispose of them, no problem.
Yes. Take care of business is what we're talking about right
Did you see that Halliburton topping? Halliburton caught the ball, bounced it.
Yes.
Alley-oop. Oh,
you just
awesome.
do something where you jack around and practice at the end of practice and you do it in the game.
How fun is that, though?
I'm going to tell you what, Obi does some stuff in games that should shock you. I mean, in a playoff game going between the Lades and Duncan, in a playoff game. I mean, this wasn't after practice, during practice, the regular season game, playing a crap hole Charlotte team last night or nothing like that. This was in a stinking playoff game between the legs.
Yeah, he was one. Last year his status with the Pacers was up in the air.
Yeah.
Not sure if they're going to re-sign him, let him go. I'm glad they re-signed him.
Oh, they needed to.
He is so good off the bench. And he can fill in a starter's role if there's injuries. And
you go small. He's been great. It's funny. I think he had that in New York, but they never could find a common ground between he and Thibodeau, the head coach. It's funny. You watch his final season in New York, and the only time he's whipping some ass was against the Pacers right here. Yep. And that was basically it. And then he comes here, and not only that, but he's also just terrific as a human, hanging out with the fans there, too. But he adds a great deal, no doubt about that.
Sure does. Brings a lot of athleticism.
He does. All right, Covers.com, Jason Logan's going to join us. What are we thinking about as far as these championship? By the way, I don't know how many of you are in our bracket contest, But you know that the person to your left right here has the opportunity to win them both.
Ooh.
I am sitting in position to win Diamond Madness and the Heaven Hill Distillery Bar restock.
Wow.
That's like on The Price is Right winning both showcases.
That's huge. That's
Seriously,
huge.
that's a big. I don't know how people will respond if I win them both. That's just too damn bad.
Did you just go through and take all the highest seeds? Is that how
I
it
did
kinda
not.
worked?
You know what? I would probably be in incredible position right now had I not jacked around with St. John's.
Yeah, that hurt
through
me
the Sweet
too.
16.
St. John's broke a lot.
Yeah, I mean, but that was really my only mistake. Everything else has been pretty true, but I have every Final Four team. And if Auburn and Houston win on Saturday, and if Houston wins on Monday, hello, Johnny. Diamond Madness.
That's going to be tough to do, John.
You think so? Why would we suggest that?
I personally think, well, I think Duke is the team to beat. I think Duke is the team by far.
Yeah.
How good is Cooper Flag?
Oh, my God.
It's pretty damn good, Tommy S.
But, that Florida-Auburn game, at first glance, I like Auburn, but with Braum, I don't even know what his status is, right? He had a week off. He's got the bad elbow.
I think
Auburn.
Bruce Pearl said, now this could be gamesmanship, but he said by Saturday he's going to be good to damn go.
He's a game-time decision, so that always makes you think, right? So, when that first came out, if he's healthy, I kind of like Auburn to the points. But if not, if that hinders him at all, Florida beat him, 90-82 or something like that back in February.
They had shootouts. It was
shootouts. And you need a guy like Braum to stand up against Florida. Now, Florida hasn't looked great in the last 3 games of the tournament. They're sneaking by, winning by 2, they won by 5 last week, I believe. I honestly think it's come down to Duke and Florida, and I think Duke is the team to beat. I think hands down Duke is the
I think you can make a significant argument, and that's why we have 1 seeds here.
Oh, yeah.
A significant argument about everybody. Could you not here?
Oh, you could. Absolutely. Again, you got all ones. Yep. Houston's defense, the best in the entire NCAA.
I was going to say, I don't know if Duke wanted to see Houston in that first game because Houston can play lockdown defense.
They will lock you up.
Tennessee, who's the highest scoring team.
Yeah.
15 points in the first half.
They test the whistle. They'll push the limits to the whistle. Hey, you know what? We're going to do all this, and you cannot officiate it to the level in which, physically speaking, we're going to play. And that's how Kelvin Sampson teams normally really win defensively, is by doing that. It was funny in the regional final. You saw both Tennessee and Houston doing the same damn thing, but Houston was the one winning out in it. So,
yeah, they look good. Their defense is the real deal. And like Tommy said, you take a team like Tennessee holding the 15 points, and they're lucky to get 15.
Yeah.
I think they had 9 with 2 minutes to go, and then they finally hit a couple shots.
They started 0 for 12. From
it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Hit water from a boat.
They really could not. And it was very, I was looking for a little bit better game, but, I think it turned out, this is pretty cool. Only the second time all number 1 seeds, I think happened last in 2008, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. You're going to see some good ball being played. So I think we're going to have some close games. You got Duke as a 5.5-point favorite, and you got Florida's 2.5-point favorite right now. So there's going to be some good games here. I'm looking forward to it, and I think
so. That's kind of anti both of my picks right there. I'm on the underdog end with both of my national championship teams right there.
Hey, I'll tell you what. The dogs have not been barking a whole lot in this tournament this year, but there's always time, right? There's 4 number 1 seeds for a reason, so you're going to see some good ball.
All right, Brent Halverson right there, Heaven Hill Distillery. Tommy S. over there, Coach's Tavern, JMV here. You can watch inside the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live. I will offer up the I love having a temporary number right here. Dig the temporary number.
It's like a burner phone. You guys have burner phones for the station now?
Did you used to just get temporary numbers when you were in college and stuff?
No,
back then.
Did.
Yeah, you could get temporary numbers.
No, my pager was like a 1-800 number.
What was the first cell phone that you had? Do you remember?
Oh man, it was a great story actually. So, my dad got me one right when cell phones, they weren't out yet, but it was the big block phones
the Zach
or whatever.
Morris specials?
The Zach Morris special.
The Michael Douglas Wall Street on the beach?
He got me one of those and said, only use this for emergencies, right? Because it was crazy dollars, and roaming was the thing back then. And I went out to Colorado. There was a group of us from Ball State went out to Colorado, and I had the phone, so people would call me and, contact point or whatever. And I get back, and I had a $1,700 phone bill from being out there for a week. And my dad wasn't real happy about that.
You were roaming like the B-52s.
Hey, I tell you what, we got to where we needed to be, and we did it right. I'll tell you that. But it was pricey, and it was a good learning lesson.
What brand was it? Do you remember?
I'd say Motorola. That'd just be a pure guess.
I had a GTE MobileNet phone. And it was the first one invented where you use it as a house phone and a cell phone.
Ooh, look at that.
And then it had that little antenna, that plastic antenna that you pull up. And I always wondered, there was nothing to that, right? Why the hell are we even pulling that
That makes
up?
you look cool.
Yeah, so the GTE MobileNet was my first one. And obviously, we lived in an era of the bag phone.
Oh, yeah.
And the bag phone a lot, too, in the bag right there. And
The old car phone with the twisty antenna.
yeah, like Will Smith, perpetrate like I'm a-talking. Yes, right
GT
there.
MobileNet and Cellular One. That was the other big
Cellular One was a good one right there. I also had, remember this? I had an MCI calling card. Who else? MCI calling card. That means I could go up to a payphone anywhere and use it. MCI calling card.
It's impressive.
Nobody else?
Lisa had a party line.
Yes.
The 1-800 party line that you'd call or something like that.
I had a pager back in high school.
That-
It was,
I had one of those, too.
We just lost Mickey the Beeper King.
Oh, did we?
A couple of months back, I believe. Right? Remember how famous he was, Mickey the Beeper King?
commercials
With the,
on all the
man,
local
of the 1990s. That was a big deal right there. Hey, Tommy, yes, what do we got going on at Coaches today and later on tonight?
Well, right now we got Miss Amber back there serving up all the drinks.
Love Amber. She's
Amber's awesome.
I see Joe Smith from Brownpool Tavern.
I do too.
Up there.
He's here all the time. Does he live here?
He works.
Does he have does he have a little home underneath one of these seats?
Yeah, he got a cot downstairs. So.
Is there a downstairs to this place?
Hey, got my buddy Craig Emmons owns the pub in the yard line.
Craig's over there, yes,
I
sir.
like Craig too. Is there a downstairs to this place?
Yeah, so everything, all of our storage is downstairs.
Is it really?
Walk-in, all that.
Is that like catacombs beneath this place?
No, we're not the Slippery Noodle, unfortunately. But
They have catacombs at the Noodle?
They got tunnels.
that was an old underground railroad.
Oh, yeah.
I think Brothers has one underneath theirs too
They
down there,
might,
don't
and
they?
the city market had them too. It's closed now, but you could go. I remember we used to do the Prohibition Day.
Yeah.
Repeal Day. You could go down there, you dress up like it's 1933?
32, 33, yeah.
Dress up like it was the 30s, and it was hey, welcome back, alcohol. But like I said, tonight we got the concert. We'll see how that goes for us. Got the Pacers tomorrow night, and then we right into the Final Four on Saturday.
How was last night down here with all the weather, Tommy?
Well, I was not here. We still did pretty well. The Pacer game did well.
Right.
I think
all that kind of hit on the near north side as the Pacer game ended last night. Yeah.
It did. Yeah, we were pretty fortunate at home where we live. We lost power. I think we're still without power, but I've got a generator, so I don't really care.
Oh, you don't have power where you live up there now?
No, I went out.
I wonder how many people are out of power.
Oh, I heard it. No, it was some crazy number. Yeah,
75,000 from AES.
absolutely.
And I think it's down to like 28,000. So it's going. There's a lot of down trees and lines. I mean, that was some severe stuff.
It was. That's why, man, you got to have a local. I thought everybody last night, and I was scrolling through the channels, just an excellent job of being in front of it, right? And I know that technology provides you. It's not like when we were growing up back in the day, there's just this radar that looked like something from Star Wars or something, and then it would show a cloud like floating over. Now, you know exactly.
They tell you where the rotation is.
Oh, yeah.
There's rotation right here. And I thought everybody did a great job in making sure everybody was a step ahead of what was going on last night,
I
which
watched
is
Channel
important.
6. Todd Klossman, good friend of
We
mine.
like Todd a great deal.
Big
Todd's a good
supporter
dude.
of, Coach's Tavern and beer.
He's a huge drinker. And he's got the whitest teeth in local television.
I don't know about all
He looks like fluorescent teeth Clausen right there. Shout out to him. I'm telling you what. He's like instant sunlight when he smiles. You go, whoa. Like UV rays are breaking me down right here. On that smile, that fluorescent smile you got there, Todd. No, great guy, though. He really is. All right, Tommy Essek, coaches right here. Brent, you and Jason Logan and I coming up to you. Got some questions for our betting guy.
I'd love to. I'm going to crash a little knowledge with the guy, see what he's got for us, John.
Gotcha. What else we got drinking-wise here? We got cocktails that are ready to be created. What
We do. Hey,
working
Coaches has a little bit of everything. They've got a great selection from Heaven Hill, though, and all the Deep Eddy. And Deep Eddy pineapples, what I'm nipping on here. The newest flavor
Really
from Deep
now?
Eddy is outstanding, and they've got it here, too. They've got the full lineup.
Is that low calorie?
Deep Eddy. Oh, it's super low.
I may try that next. What do you got that with local? Local, Deep Eddy pineapple, and
any
what?
of the Deep Eddy flavors, John, you just put with water or club soda. I tried it with Sprite. Somebody was telling me how good it was with Sprite.
Hey,
and it is awesome.
Let's see if Amber can.
Mix
I want to try that next, maybe.
All right, let's get Amber's all over it. She'll get you.
I'm going to stay under 1,200 calories today. All I've had is like 3 boiled eggs. And some Deep Eddy pineapple.
You can have 10 Deep Eddy cocktails in. All right, you'll be good.
Yeah, we've
all
got
good.
plenty of Heaven Hill Prize. We got Larceny. We got Elijah Craig. We've got some allocations too.
Love me the bourbons.
One of my favorite bourbons to sip on, McKenna 10-year.
Oh, that's the juice.
And we've got that, and we've got the grain to glass?
Yes.
Heaven Hill.
Let me tell you about
21 proof. It's
grain
the
to
bourbon.
glass is so outstanding.
Did you try that bottle that Jim Romanek?
There's no question. I tried that bottle that Jim Romanek dropped off. Also, though, what is it? Is it 125 or 126 Larceny?
So with the barrel proof, 125 is the latest batch, and that's
you talk about a sledgehammer coming down on my head right there.
Well, John, it'll get up and grab you a little bit.
It'll grab you by the boo boo.
So,
and I'm an experienced drinker.
You know, the one thing I love about you, my friend, is I'll bring a bottle to show every now and then, and we'll sit down and I'll pour a little sipper for us. You know, so, and the grain of glass. I remember we were at Mystic Waters.
Oh, I'm a hillbilly.
And I poured it was 131 proof, and it was just kind of a sip talk through. You just shoot them down, man.
Just
you
shoot
them down, and voila. So, no, they got a lot of great things here, and come on out and we'll see if we can get some samples going on.
I may have to go grain to glass, maybe even instead of Deep Eddy pineapple.
Look at that.
Grain to glass is good right there, man.
It is super tasty.
All right, guys, thank you very much for creating this Thursday event at Coach's Tavern. I would love to see everybody here. How are we supposed to say, what do we do with samplage? Can we say sample? I don't know anymore how I'm supposed to say it.
Complimentary sampling.
Complimentary sampling. Honestly, if you're listening, you know exactly what that means with me. Complimentary sampling. But we want to phrase it the right way and be incredibly responsible human beings as we are.
That's what you get it. You do the shot real quick, and then you compliment them. There's a complimentary sampling.
I'm such a tremendous bad influence. You ever see the movie Bad Influence with Rob Lowe and James Spader?
Yeah.
I'm like Rob Lowe if he were an ugly ass. It'd be like me. Be going, okay, you're Rob Lowe, but you're ugly as hell. I'm the bad influence right there. So exactly. Complimentary sampling is happening today.
That's it.
Brent Halverson, Heaven Hill Distillery, Tommy S., Coach's Tavern downtown. We would love to see you. Why not bust out a little bit early and go ahead and kick off the weekend a little bit early at Coach's Tavern downtown. Jason Logan of Covers.com. We'll talk about the Final Four. We'll grain to glass with this in there, too. That'd be great. Thank you very much. We got that coming up. Billy Shepard on the way, too. Jeremiah Johnson, Mike Chappell, stuff to give away. And we have a temporary number I will share with you on the other side. Do not go anywhere. Stuff you can win and a great show on the inbound. And, again, we're thinking about you if you had storm damage last night, but a job well done by everybody here locally, making sure that we are all able to stay a step ahead. And that's the importance of it, a step ahead of what happened last night, because it was one of the more severe nights weather-wise we have seen in a long time around here. Quick break, we'll come back. Stream the app, HD Radio, the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
PE in high school. He was wearing sweatpants. It was really embarrassing, so this song goes out to him.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
AAA Membership Lounge. Shout out to Matt and Matt, AAA. YouTube Live. You can find us right there. This is something, by the way, I think I saw this earlier today. The Vogue has Amy Mann. This is Amy Mann in Voices Carry coming up in the month of June in Broad Ripple. The Vogue and Amy Mann is incredibly talented. I mentioned John Way is at Hendrix Live coming up tomorrow night. Here's one for you tomorrow night at the Vogue, if you care or have interest in it. Hip-hop pioneer from a female angle, MC Light, is at the Vogue coming up tomorrow night. That is a good one right there. MC Light is incredibly talented. That's tomorrow night at the Vogue as well. Coach's Tavern downtown. Tommy S. is with us. Carl is the on-site engineer. Thus, we are incredibly shocked and surprised that we're still on the air. Carl, thank you for having us today. I appreciate that. My man is the engineer. By the way, we got to make sure. How many people are in our baseball fantasy league?
12 altogether.
With the girls, too?
Yes.
Are the girls keeping track of stuff right now?
Yes, but we drafted. They drafted pretty badly.
No, well.
So they're not doing so well.
I will say this. Lindsay is right there with me in the bracket challenges, too. So that's good. Carl, thank you very much. We got Ethan and we got Kevin here with us today. Great food, and we have Heaven Hill Distillery on hand, along with our betting analyst, Brent Halverson. I'm JMV, and joining us now, 20 years with Covers. That's Covers.com, lead NFL betting analyst, and so much more right now. Jason Logan is going to join us once again. Hello, Jason. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
The worlds are colliding of this show because I have you, a betting analyst, and I have our betting analyst from Heaven Hill Distillery. Let me introduce him to you, Brent Halverson. Brent, go ahead.
Hello, Jason. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right. How's your bracket holding up?
You know, my bracket's not as good as the guy to my left here, John. Who,
I'm an ass whipper, Jason Logan.
Chalk. I did a little bit of a couple reaches, and they didn't pan out, as we all know, since we've got all number ones here. But you know what? Looking forward to the big weekend here, Final Four, and then Championship Monday. Got a couple really, really good games in front of us here, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be some good games on Saturday.
Hey, Jason, how is your bracket?
My bracket's actually pretty good. I mean, people always give you crap for advancing the chalk, but I've got three of the Final Four. I mean, this was a year in which the number one seeds, especially like Auburn and Duke, were heads and shoulders above a lot of the teams that were going to be 2s and 3s out there. And so I have Auburn and Duke and Houston in there. I did have TTU as my other seed. I think they were number 3 getting out of the West. So that was the one that I don't have in the Final Four. I have Duke winning it all. So unfortunately, I have to be a Duke fan for the next 3 days in terms of my bracket, as well as I have some futures action on Duke as well too that could pay out pretty well if the Blue Devils win a championship, and then I can go back to hating Duke and everything about the Blue Devils.
Hey, Jason, wasn't Duke like they were a 10-1 kind of the start of the year? I think somewhere around there, 950 or something like that. And then Florida was like at 60-1, right? Weren't they a big long shot kind of?
I was looking at the odds yesterday. So Duke was, because it's funny, every year we see these college futures come out, and they basically look the same every year. It's all the Blue Buds. It's the Dukes, the Kentuckys, the Kansases. They're all going to be in that top 10 list, and they're all priced pretty low considering, they may not be able to make a run. And then they do tend to take form. I believe Florida was out there around plus 4,000 at kind of their opening price. And even towards the middle of SEC play, they were still up there at like plus 1,000, plus 2,000. It wasn't really until that turning point they beat Auburn on February 8th. And a lot of people started looking at the Gators in a different way. And then they went on that crazy run through the remainder of SEC play, looked fantastic in the SEC tournament and have looked great so far through the tournament, avoided some tough tests. I think out of the 4 teams there, they've had the toughest path coming out of that West region, which kind of was that group of death in terms of the NCAA tournament. you could still get them, I think, around like plus 600 or so entering the tournament.
You know, I'm looking here, and by the way, I'm a big fan of covers. I've used covers for many years here, and I actually just pulled up here on the site here, and just looking at March Madness odds to start the year, and then Duke was plus 950, Florida plus 6,000, Houston plus 1,100, Auburn plus 2,000. So you got some big numbers there that, you know, if you had somebody on Florida at the beginning of the season, they're looking to cash in, and you're right. I mean, they're sitting at plus 3 right now. You got Duke's even money, basically, Florida plus 300. Houston plus 400 and Auburn plus 550. So I think, you know, what I was talking about a little bit earlier too, and I'd love to get your take on this. So that Auburn Florida game, that's got a lot of. When I first saw that come out, I really like the dog in that. I like Auburn, but it all comes down to Brown, right? If he's going to play, I mean, he's supposed to be his game time decision, but that's a lot of weight right there, just to wait to see if he's going to play. You got any insight for us on his status, or what? I mean, the numbers moving towards Auburn, so it kind of tells you he's going to be good to go, maybe, right?
Yeah, he practiced in full. He says he's going to be 100% on Saturday. I don't think he's going to be a game time decision. He's good to go. The biggest thing is going to be his mobility and how he is when he plays away from the hoop, too. Florida runs a lot of pick and roll. They're going to try to drag him away from the key. They also have some big guys, too. Guys like Alex Condon who can stretch the floor and force him to come away from the rim. And if he's a little slow on rotation, whether it's switching or showing and hedging on pick and roll spots, you know, if they're going to play under on a lot of these things and not show, then guys like Walter Clayton are going to have a massive game. They're going to be able to hit those mid-range jumpers, or if they get a real bad switch, they're going to be able to blow past Brom if he doesn't have, you know, the same mobility that he's had earlier in the tournament. Those things become an issue. I expect him to play in full. I took his over 10.5 rebounds. It was even money out there. He's a force on the boards. I think there's going to be a lot of pace, a lot of shots going up at this one. And he's a guy that's pulled down 11-plus rebounds in 5 of their 6 postseason games. He had 11 rebounds against Florida in that last meeting. And then a lot of the player projections that I ran had him, you know, up there with 13 rebounds. So I think he's still going to be a force. I'm not concerned about his health.
Okay. It's Jason Logan of Covers.com talking about the Final Four. Obviously, the national semifinals coming up on Saturday, the championship game on Sunday. As we talked to Iron Eagle about that yesterday, the voice of the Final Four, I am kind of curious your thoughts on who has the overall odds right now to take home the most outstanding player of the Final Four. Who do you got?
Well, it's Flag and Clayton are the two big ones, mainly because, too, like Flag's had so much liability as well, too, and that's the same thing with Duke's title odds. That's why we see them at even money, because Duke has a massive following. It's a national following, even a global following. There's tons of Duke fans up here in Canada, and they will bet the Blue Devils blindly. And so we're seeing a lot of action on Flag come in, and then Walter Clayton for Florida are the two kind of mainstays that you know, being the favorites in these games. These are the teams that they expect to advance to the championship games, and those guys have kind of had the biggest impact, especially Clayton for Florida has just been phenomenal in those crunch moments, hitting big shots, getting to the rim, just really being the motor behind that Gators offense.
I tell you what, Clayton, watching him play, when it comes down to, and they've been playing some tight games. I mean, they've been in some trouble throughout these last 3 games. And you give Clayton 3 minutes to go in the game, give him the ball. You got to watch out, man. It's fun watching that. That's what I love about these games, watching these young kids just take control. I mean, he's got ice in his vein. I mean, he just does it all, man. He's fun to watch, and he really kind of brings it all back around. So what you just said about him right there, I mean, that does make it, you know, it's something you've got to watch for, because it's tough to compete against a guy like that.
Yeah, and those player of the tournament odds are another way to kind of offset or maybe get a little more value out of the futures odds. So if you think that Florida is going to win, then, you know, Clayton's probably going to be a big part of that, and you can get a little extra payback rather than betting Florida just to win the championship. You can say, well, okay, Clayton wins MVP, and that's or most valuable player, and that kind of, you know, gives you a little bit more return with a little bit of risk.
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned a lot of these guys, too. So whoever's in there, right, it's really what it's going to come down to. Like Uzan for Houston. I mean, that dude's been playing just lights out as well, and he's 14-1. You know, if Houston can somehow find a way to pull the it's definitely an upset because they're a 5-point dog. Pull the upset. I mean, he's a guy you got to look at, too. But you also on that Houston squad, Cryer, Sharp, Uzan. I mean, those are guys right there. I mean, they're poised. If they can get by Duke, which I don't think it's going to happen. I think Cooper Flagg's your kind of hands down guy. I think Duke's the overall team, like I said. I think you were there with me as well. Cooper Flagg is going to be tough to beat, just like you said. He's got that big following. Everybody knows who he is. I mean, he's made a presence, and he gets it done each time. But again, guys like Clayton and Brahm even too. Like, you know, if Auburn can kind of get through there, he's another guy to look at. So you got some good odds still out there that you know, just like next man up, right? Whoever can get it done in the big one.
Yeah, I mean, you generally see that in the tournament. You see the biggest players jump up and they go over their point totals. They make the big shots. You know, one thing that I always remind myself getting into March Madness, especially when we get into the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, I'm like, you know what? Don't get cute with it. Just go with the guys that you know are going to be on the floor. They're going to play. You know, they're going to play 34 minutes. They're going to get the bulk of the shots. They're going to be the guys that step up. Sometimes you get a little too cute with it, and you're like, oh, no, I can't take Clayton's over again. But, I mean, these guys just keep performing and stepping up. The biggest thing I will say is you have a 6-day break now, and you get some of these players that can get hot and get rolling. And now that momentum is pretty much gone, and you're moving venues, you're going to San Antonio, you're playing in the Alamo Dome. It's a different field of depth and shooting and stuff like this. So I'm interested to see if some of those guys that have been fantastic and playing beyond themselves, like a Pettiford for Auburn.
No, I knew you were going to go there, Jason. I knew you were going to go with Pettiford. I did.
An absolute X factor. A guy that could come out and score 20 points in this game against Florida, embrace a pace game, and take it over. But he's also a guy who, you know, he may lose that heat that he's had so far in the tournament because of that break, and doesn't come out and maybe has a bad shooting performance and really hurts Auburn. So I'm really interested to see how some of those hot streak guys are going to perform with a 6-day break, and then also a team having 6 days to really focus their defense on stopping those particular players.
A lot of great points there, my friend. Hey, real quick before we let you go here, I got a good. So who are you on? I mean, on the numbers, right? Like, who do you like in that Florida Auburn game and that Houston Duke game? And then what about these totals? The totals are the one thing for me, especially in that Houston Duke game. You got a high scoring, high powered offense in Duke and the number one defense in Houston. How do you see that wrapping up?
I like the under in the Houston Duke game. I mean, we look at the team total for Duke. We're looking at 70.5, which is a significant drop in their team total compared to, you know, you look back going to the end of ACC play. That's a big drop for them. But we also forget how good Duke is defensively. Like, they're amazing on offense. However, very, very good on defense as well, too. They were able to take Mark Sears and put him in a bottle. He was invisible in that game against Alabama. They did a fantastic job on him. And the reason is because they have big, burly guards. Like, their backcourt runs 6'5", 6'6", 6'6", 6'7", and they can all ball. And they're happy to play whatever role it is, whether it's a defensive stopper or an offensive threat. And that, I think, is going to push Houston out to the perimeter in this one. Neither team gives up a ton of points around the rim. Houston, of course, we know the resume. They give nothing inside. They'll press you. They're going to get in the shorts of the Blue Devils and maybe disrupt some of those guys. But I think we're going to see the under in this one between Houston and Duke. Florida and Auburn is a little tougher. I mean, there's absolute value in taking an underdog in Auburn, who, it seems weird, this was the number one team in the country all year. They were the number one overall seed entering the tournament, and now they're the fourth overall favorite out of the Final Four. You know, Broom's injury has a little bit to do with that. Some of their stumbling towards the end of the season has something to do with that. But Auburn has looked absolutely locked in against Michigan and Michigan State. And they're playing the best basketball right now. They may not have looked as good as some of these other teams at the start of the tournament. So I think Auburn absolutely is a live dog. I don't have a spread. I don't have a total bet on that one. I have a couple player props on the go for Florida Auburn. We'll see if I add anything else by the weekend. But that's where I'm at right now.
Covers.com. It is Jason Logan with us. Besides that, how can people find your information, Jason?
Yeah, well, you can check us out on X at Covers. Mine is at CoversJLo, at CoversJLo on X. And then I also do a podcast called The Sharp 600. And you can find that during football season at Covers.com.
All right, so how's the weather where you are in Canada today?
Oh, man, we had an ice storm this weekend, and then we had a little bit of freezing rain and wind, so my power actually went out this morning, and I was worried I might not be able to speak to you if they didn't get the power fixed. But cold, but spring is on the way.
It is? Like an ice storm?
It is. Yeah, we had a legit
right around the
ice
corner.
storm. We had a legit ice storm, but this is the weather. Like, it was snowing earlier today. I'm looking out the window right now, and it's kind of sunny. So,
all right. I'm assuming there's a body of water of some sort, whatever it is, near you, lake, whatever. Like, when is the first time you'll be able to get in it without having hypothermia?
Actually, I live right on Lake Ontario, so I'm looking at the lake right now, and it will be cold up until even that May long weekend. It's still a little chilly. So I would say probably June you're comfortable going in. May you're going to feel it.
I got you. Hey, man, it's a pleasure to have you. I'm glad I got to introduce you to Brent here, too. We'll do this again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, pleasure talking
Jason
to you.
Logan right there of Covers.com. I knew you were a big fan of that.
Oh, that's awesome. I've used Covers for many years, and so I love to put a face or put a voice with the site too, right?
He's in Canada.
He is in Canada, eh?
Yes, you can tell. I like Canada. Like, a lot of people hate Canada. I like Canada.
Well, I'm all about it.
I am too.
Like everybody.
Yeah,
Like everybody.
good.
He sounds like a good dude, man. No,
He
it was
is
great
a
to talk to
very
him.
good dude right there.
Like to get him back.
You ever
on
seen the
and
movie
chat.
Youngblood?
Oh yeah,
that's a great hockey movie.
It
right
is a
there.
great hockey movie. It is.
I believe does Swayze get killed in that in Youngblood? I can't have Swayze getting off in any. I mean, it was bad enough, so I didn't watch Ghost.
I was going to say, what'd you do for Ghost? He was still around. But
watching
not
that.
really.
You know what the best
Making clay pots with Demi
best
Moore.
Canadian movie of all time? Strange Brew.
Brew's
yes,
pretty damn
that's
good right there.
right.
Hey, I'll raise you on Strange Brew. I'll give you Scanners. How about Scanners? Canadian right there. All right. James says break. James doesn't have the man bun today, so it's serious business. All right. Quick break. We'll come back. Other side here. Coach's Tavern, love to see you. Cocktails flowing for you here. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Am I? Is that okay?
They're flowing.
They are
That's
flowing.
what they do. It's a
true.
bar.
Damn,
They
all
pour
right.
the
At the
drinks.
bar, the cocktails
We
are
drink.
flowing. Heaven Hill Distillery. Brett, Tommy S., John, thank you for joining us. We'd love to see you. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
I guess the only thing I can say is I'll promise to keep rocking and rolling, making better films.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
The irony in that reentry is that was Dirk Diggler talking about porno films.
What a great movie.
God, that was great.
That was awesome.
Paul Thomas Anderson. I love hearing the background stories. How about the late Burt Reynolds wondering why he ended up doing it and then getting nominated for a Best Supporting Actor role from Boogie Nights right there. It's great. Who was the best in it? Who was the best actor in Boogie Nights?
That'd be Mark Wahlberg, right?
Dirk Diggler?
Yeah. He played that role perfectly. That was classic.
I like Little Bill. Little Bill was good, even though Little Bill offed himself. Little Bill was pretty good in that, I think. John C. Reilly. Hold on, John C. Reilly. But the film within the film was great. Was it not?
It was awesome.
With Jess Rockwell, Brock Landers. Oh, that's good stuff right there. Hey, Coaches Downtown, that's Brent Halverson, Heaven Hill Distillery. That is Tommy S. over there of Coaches Tavern. Jeremiah Johnson joins us coming up at the top of the hour. Pacers a winner over Charlotte last night. Pacers get Utah tomorrow night. Business check because you got to take care of it. And you get set for, I think, what is a significant gauge coming up on Sunday on the road in Denver. Meantime, this afternoon, a couple of games done in Major League Baseball. Red Sox 8-4 over the Orioles. Phillies 3-1 over the Rockies. Reds and Brewers start a weekend set in Milwaukee, and let's just face it here, both teams have started a little bit slow. 2-4 for the Reds, 2-4 for the Brewers. That first pitch is 7:40 coming up later on tonight in Milwaukee. Meantime, the NIT final, and I know that you don't feel the same as you did about it a year ago, and why should you? Because Indiana State, our Indiana State Sycamores, this was the night when my heart was broken, when they gagged up like an 8-point lead in the final 2 minutes right there in front of me, right there in front of my face, losing the NIT final to Seton Hall. But we talked to Russell Turner, the head coach of UC Irvine yesterday, UC Irvine in Chattanooga. I have a great deal of admiration for especially those mid-major coaches, and this is so meaningful for both of those programs. Fellas, Tommy S., I get that. I do. Get that a great deal.
Sure. Absolutely agree with you.
You got mid-majors, ESPN, 9 o'clock later on tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had no idea the NIT was at Hinkle Fieldhouse.
Well, I didn't know the NIT still exists till last year, and Indiana State was in it. I go, holy crap! All right, here's the NIT. Let's do it. So I was too disappointed about the NCAA tournament. What's ironic about it is that UC Irvine had a similar set of circumstances as Indiana State. You know, they lose in the Big West final, and they're not hearing their name called on Selection Sunday. That's happened to Indiana State in the Mo Valley a year ago, and then you had to get up 3 days later and play a team where you're kind of wondering if any motivation was going to be there, and they both found that motivation in each of their respective second halves, and now you see UC Irvine in the final. But that should be fun basketball later on tonight, 9 o'clock. Brent, Tommy S., me, and JJ on the other side. Coach's Tavern downtown. Jake Query is here as well. He's going to join us on the show, so do not go anywhere. Billy Shepard joins us, the former Mr. Basketball, the basketball icon here in the state of Indiana, in the 4 o'clock hour. And Mike Chappell regarding the whole owners' meetings down in Florida and the quarterback competition with Mike coming up after 5. Coach's Tavern downtown. Love to see you. Heaven Hill Distillery, cocktails, and more here. We'd love to see you on this Thursday. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
most metal
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. We're at Coach's Downtown. We'd love to see you. Heaven Hill Distillery. Hey, fellas. Those are some cool dudes right there, Brent Holverson. I don't know who they are, but they look like they're cool dudes.
Super cool.
Super
That's where all the cool people hang out,
dudes.
John. You come to Coaches, and you're already in the circle of cool.
Cool dude, just like the Breakfast Club.
It is.
Cool dudes like Simple Minds and Jim Kerr and the Breakfast Club. Would you have gotten along in detention in the Breakfast Club back then with that group?
I probably could have survived a little bit.
Yeah. Who are you more like? Of those personalities in detention in the Breakfast Club, who are you most like?
Probably a good combination of all.
Give me a combination. Were you kind of nerd and jock? Or were you badass and jock? Or badass and nerd?
Badass and jock, baby.
Badass and jock. So you're a Judd Nelson.
Yeah.
And you're Emilio Estevez.
Yeah. I didn't have that nerd factor. I wasn't that smart, John.
I think I was just Emilio Estevez. But I would not have put tape on that hairy guy's butt. They got him in trouble. Because I didn't want to see that hairy guy's butt.
You're just straight badass then.
Yeah, I just been badass.
I can see that.
I was probably more like Emilio Estevez.
I can see that.
Estevez in that right there.
That's
Hey, honestly, inside the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live, there was a dude at Purdue that was in the Skull House up there. And you know what the Skull House is?
No.
Yeah, you saying, yeah. Skull House is a frat house up there. So I'd go up there for Grand Prix weekends and have a good time back in the early 90s. And the dude always called me Emilio Estevez, said, I look like Emilio Estevez. Do I?
You do now.
Do I?
Yeah.
So that was, but like 6 months ago, the fat me didn't look like Emilio Estevez. The skinny me looks more like Emilio Estevez.
I think, yeah. You look good. I think you look better than Emilio Estevez.
Have you noticed what I'm doing with my hair?
It's going back more like Emilio Estevez.
Let me tell you the process here. I'm trying to make my face look longer, so I look skinnier. Like, remember the McDonald's Mac Tonight with the moon face?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for right here.
Well, I can tell you, don't need to do that.
The rest of me looks skinnier if my face looks longer.
You're already skinny. You're skinny, bro.
Thank you.
You're skinny. You're skinny.
Skinny. I'm going for the Mac Tonight. I'm going the Max Headroom look.
I'm going to tell you what. I just had, and again, I'm a big fan of Coach's food.
Yes, you are.
And I had their French dip, which was outstanding. I want to get like 3 of them, and I'm just going to feed them to you.
There's zero way. I love the food here, too, but Johnny ain't eating. Let me tell you.
You got to eat, bro.
I had 2 boiled eggs before I came down here.
Said nobody ever except for Easter, and that's like before you even eat food.
Me, listen, if it's good enough for Cool Hand Luke, right, Billy? It's good enough for me.
Not even some cottage cheese today, huh?
A couple bites earlier.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
Okay. All right.
So, Brent Holverson, I'm John. Thank you for joining us. Coach's Tavern. We'd love to see you with Heaven Hill Distillery on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Pacers get a win last night against a team that really stinks, but has been a pain in their ass all season long, which was good to see. The Charlotte Hornets. And JJ from Pacers TV joins us now. Hello, JJ. How are you?
I'm doing great. I wish I was called Emilio Estevez back in college.
I did. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool.
They called me Lurch from the Addams Family, and it wasn't quite as complimentary.
You know what else Lurch did from the Addams Family?
No.
You want to know? So have you ever watched the original Incredible Hulk with Bill Bixby from the late 70s, early 80s? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely, loved it. Watched it every Friday night.
He was the intro voice to that. Dr.
Really?
David Banner, scientist, trying to tap into the unknown strengths all humans have. And then he says, then an accidental overdose of gamma radiation alters his body chemistry. That's Lurch.
Wow.
True story, right? Did you guys know that?
I did not. No. Yeah.
Damn
Maybe
the knowledge I'm bringing to the
compliment.
show on a Thursday right here. I'm proud of that knowledge.
See, JJ, you got something to hang your hat on there now with Lurch, right?
I know.
Yes.
I was ashamed
I introduced
to be
Bruce
called
Banner.
Lurch, and now I'm happy about it. Exactly.
Look at that.
All right. Hey, so you were Lurch in high school at Peru. Which of the Breakfast Club characters were you most like?
Well, no, and Lurch was actually college at the fraternity house at Ball State, so no one at Peru was smart enough to make that connection. And then I'm embarrassed to say Breakfast Club. I don't know that I've actually ever watched, but if you're fitting the description, I'm not too proud to say that I was probably more jock nerd. I had a little bit of nerd in me, but definitely had the jock also.
JJ, what fraternity at Ball State?
Sigma Phi Epsilon. Sig Ep.
Okay, I was a beta, so I was right around the.
Did you guys have girls at your party, unlike the Pikes did at Indiana State? They never had girls at their party. It was all dudes. It was like a Boy Scout meeting.
Yeah, I mean,
we only had girls.
Absolutely.
I never knew how the Pikes had a party at Indiana State because there were never any chicks there. I go, what are you guys doing here? I said, well, do I need to earn my merit badge to get into your party here? What's this Boy Scout thing going on here?
Yeah, I don't know about any of those kind of parties.
Yeah, I DJ'd them too.
This goes out to all you dudes.
I know. This goes out to the Pikes. I like making fun of the Pikes at Indiana State, so that's one fun thing that I have. Hey, JJ, I do want to get to the point as to why we're having you on right here. I thought last night was a good test against a team that has had their number that is bad. So they were engaged, I felt, last night, start to finish. All right. And that's good. And then we'll see if they can do the same on Friday. Sunday, to me, is going to be that test because we're talking about upper echelon postseason team in Denver on the road. We know what took place a month ago or so against the Nuggets. Sunday is the game that I think is going to be where they are, end of a regular season accurate gauge. But I thought last night was good because they did overcome. They've had an issue with that team, and last night it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, you always have a little bit of concern in matchups like that, but given the fact that Charlotte had defeated the Pacers twice already this season, I don't know that I was that concerned. Maybe some moments there in the third quarter where there were some anxious moments, but they quickly regained control, never let up from the lead in the second half, and did what they needed to do. And it'll be a similar situation on Friday. The one thing that I want to do is give a shout-out to a lot of the people that are listening, anyone that was in the building. For a Wednesday night against Charlotte, a team that is basically looking to the lottery. It was a great crowd, and it was a great atmosphere. When the Pacers made some plays to get them into the game, they rose to the occasion. And so I would expect similar on Friday. And like you, I'm also really looking forward to Denver. I brought that up with Rick Carlisle before the game in Oklahoma City, that is this the kind of matchup that can prepare you for the games you'll have in mid to late April? And he acknowledged that it was, and I think Denver is really one of those kind of matchups and games, and I see no reason why Denver should not be giving it their all on Sunday, considering where they are in the Western Conference. So that'll be a fun one. You can't overlook Utah, but you take care of business and you get ready for what should be a very entertaining game on Sunday.
It's Jeremiah Johnson. It's Pacers TV on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So where they are right now, what most satisfies you individually, collectively, about where this team is right now?
You just see a different level of defense than you did even 1 year ago. I mean, last season, obviously, they got to the 6th seed. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. But you're seeing 1 through 5, everyone out there on the court. They're not perfect. They're not, Oklahoma City level defense, just to say, the Thunder are the number one defensive team in the league. But when they get going, it's because of their defense. It's not just their offense dragging the defense along with them. And that's what I thought in the third quarter you saw, is that they got some deflections, they got some turnovers. Forced turnovers were the big reason they won that game by double digits last night. And really everyone's given it the effort. They've got Aaron Nesmith, Andrew Nembhard, Miles Turner. You could say those three players are, really good at their position defensively. Not everyone on that team is an elite defender, but they've really figured out, to me, how to play the scheme and the system. The coaching staff, specifically Jenny Busick and Jim Boylan, have done a good job of mixing in some coverages. So I just like the fact that they are not relying on outscoring teams to win games. They can win a game, 110 to 105, and they can hold a team under 100 points, which at times a season ago, maybe even at times in November or December, you did not think was possible.
So Jeremiah Johnson of Pacers TV, and let's go individual on the improvement defensively. I want to go to Tyrese Halliburton, because people still view him as a liability. I think Tyrese is more engaged this season, or let's just say at this point in time defensively, than we have seen him on that end of the floor in his career here in Indy so far. Would you agree?
I would agree. And again, this is where the honesty from the coaching staff and the film work, I'm sure there have been points in the season where there were maybe some uncomfortable film sessions and where you could show certain plays where teams were maybe targeting Tyrese Halliburton. And that's not to say it won't happen in the playoffs, because if you do have to try to find a way, it may happen again. And again, he's not batting 1,000, defensively. There are going to be a couple of possessions here or there where, maybe the strength isn't there or someone can get by him. But I've seen, great effort. The anticipation is really good. The deflection numbers, we probably should run those at some point here and compare, the last 2 to 3 months compared to the 2 to 3 months before, or even this season to last season. Because again, when he was deflecting it and getting steals and the Pacers could go on, get it in transition, it was important. We'll see what happens. The teams will have in their scouting report to target him, like the Pacers did when Luka Doncic was on the court, and they were targeting him to try to get that win against the Lakers. So it will still happen, but he's much more aware of those situations. His teammates are much more aware of sort of working with this, so it can be not just, one-on-one, but they've got to get through 5 guys, not just Tyrese Halliburton. So I would agree with you. Just because you could pull a play here or there, that to say that's not a good defensive play, I've seen more good than bad, and I think you've seen a lot of improvement.
JJ, here's what I notice, and I see a little bit of inspiration in Tyrese at different points in the game defensively. And what really gets him excited is playing the passing lane. That's what I've seen, because he's got, and Tom Crean would love this, and Tom joins us on tomorrow's show. He gets a lot of deflections, or at least he has here recently. I mean, he gets really excited about playing the passing lane. I think that is a big difference compared to what we have seen Halliburton defensively prior.
And that's where you would say, his basketball IQ, how great he is offensively, is translating to the defensive end of the floor. You could say he would be a free safety in football, where he would, read the eyes of the quarterback and make the jump and get into the passing lane on the football field, I'm guessing. So I would agree with you 100%. He's got really good instincts and anticipation, and that's probably his best level of defense, is the help defender or anticipating, and as you said, getting the deflections that Tom Crean would love so much. You're seeing a lot more of that from Tyrese Halliburton.
Hey, JJ, does Pascal Siakam need rest, or does he need to see the ball go in the basket more appropriately for his level of play? Because, listen, I know that he probably needs a blow or two here, but I think seeing the ball go in the basket is always something that all of a sudden, regardless of the situation as a basketball player, especially at that level, energizes you.
Yeah, I would say it would be good to have a little rest, and no matter what happens, they do have a week between that last game in Cleveland and whenever they will play in the first round of the playoffs. So that will be good. He is one player that I don't think is reliant on, a hot streak or maybe seeing that ball go in the basket, and the exhibit of that would be, a couple games ago, I think he was 3 for 14, and the Pacers had all those shots to tie or take the lead. Once they got the lead, then he hits the top of the key three-pointer to give them a 2-possession lead. So some of it could just be defenses are even more aware of him, where the start of the season, their primary objective was to take Tyrese Halliburton away. Middle of the season, maybe they adjusted, said we're not going to let Pascal Siakam beat us. And then, with everyone else healthy, there are more options. So he does not have to have that high-scoring game. At the same time, for the Pacers to be at their best, to me, he's going to shoot 50 to 60% from the field. He's going to get you 20 to 25 points. And the percentages have been off a little bit of late. I do think the rest will be the biggest thing that could help headed to the playoffs.
To Jeremiah Johnson, Pacers TV, Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. Thank you very much, Tommy S. All right, Utah tomorrow night. Obviously, that is a business venture at home, and then on the road at Denver coming up on Sunday. Hey, JJ, in closing here, do you have a preference, Milwaukee or Detroit? Because to me, it's Milwaukee in round number 1. Are you allowed to say that, or will Jamie Burns get all pissed if you answer that?
No, absolutely. This is okay, and it's honestly a discussion I've had with fans. We've had, with colleagues. I even asked Eddie Gill last night on the postgame show, and I feel like the answer changes on a daily basis. My answer is, if you're the 4 seed, you don't really care. But I'm like you right now. I suppose Milwaukee would be the preference. It's crazy to say you'd rather play Giannis than a Detroit team that's not been to the playoffs in quite some time. I have a quiet confidence, I suppose, with both of the teams. But right now, if you had to say, pick your opponent, I'm about 55-45 Milwaukee instead of Detroit.
Well, I definitely, for the Pacers, I would take Kuzma over Middleton. There's no doubt about that. Detroit is troublesome. I don't know if you caught them last night against OKC, but, man, that was a hell of a job to hang in down in OKC without Cade Cunningham the entire game. And outside of a couple of really crappy calls that went their way, that can be a team that doesn't have anything to lose and will muddy up the water in round number 1, and that can make things dicey.
I was watching, and that score is not an indication of how close that game was. So maybe that's fresh in my mind as well to say, you know what, I'd just as soon take on the Buck. Now, there's enough of a rivalry brewing, and there's enough of an intensity level, and there's already been enough trash talk, I think, going back and forth that if the Pacers take on the Pistons, you can count on the Pacers being ready from the opening tip of Game 1. And, again, even better if that series is Gainbridge Fieldhouse, Games 1 and 2, and then, 5 and 7. So we'll see what happens. Cade Cunningham, I'm just impressed that the Pistons can play so well without Cade Cunningham, to your point. So if he comes back and they have everyone else healthy, they just are playing with, to me, a lot more confidence. And every time you read an article or someone with the Bucks or a media member, it's a little bit of doom and gloom. So I guess I'd rather take on the team that's down than the one that is sort of riding high. We'll see if the Pistons can sustain it. That's the biggest thing. We've seen teams go on these runs, and then it sort of comes to an end. Maybe it comes to an end here in the next week or two, and they have trouble getting it back. But right now, I guess I would choose Milwaukee, but I'm interested in potentially being able to change my mind at some point.
Hey, JJ, you think if they get the Pistons in round number 1, I should have Tim Hardaway on the show?
Well, it'd probably be good for your ratings. I mean, I don't understand what his problem is, but as long as you're willing
I think it starts with like Eddie Jones and relationships and things like that. It goes deep.
That's kind of crazy to hold a grudge against Tyrese Halliburton for Eddie Jones, but whatever.
I mean, you know that story, don't you?
Yeah, I've heard a little bit because I immediately had to do a little research and say, what's the deal? Why is he so upset? Because I've not actually seen that much between Tim Hardaway Jr. and the Pacers. I've always viewed him as, a good NBA pro, and he certainly has helped. To me, he's helped to be one of the adults in the room on a Detroit team that can get a little off kilter. So I've always had respect for Tim Hardaway Jr. I'm willing to, split my opinions, not let what his dad does and says affect my opinion of his son. So I would think that Tim Hardaway should act the same to Tyrese Halliburton and whatever happened previously back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want would you want your dad bringing that stuff up if you were Tim Hardaway Jr.?
No.
Yeah. Completely agree. It's a hell of a story, though. I mean, it really is. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking about. But, no, the Pistons, you have that nothing to lose, and, you're going to go out swinging, and, we may not win this game, but we're going to win the fight in the parking lot kind of mentality. That can be a bit concerning in round number 1. And then, to me, Milwaukee erred in judgment in trading Middleton. And I know that they were looking at somebody that was going to be more available in Kuzma. But, man, Middleton is such, especially in the postseason, a shot-making specialist. I don't know at all I could have made that move.
Yeah, I agree with you. They must have thought the medicals were enough of a concern, not just now, but maybe moving forward, that they needed a younger player with energy and maybe more, ability to score off the bounce, and that's what they thought from Kuzma. But I know one thing, when the Pacers have played the Bucks and And Chris Middleton seems like every time he shoots it, it goes in. So I'm not mad about that trade from a Pacers perspective.
I'll give you a quick shout out here. Mutual friend Dave Smiley of ZPL, the morning show, is listening to us right now. I don't know why I said that. He just sent me a text and said he's listening right now. So he likes you, JJ. Dave Smiley.
I was waiting on you to say someone from the Addams family was listening in, but no.
No, it's Smiley. You know, and I will give you this. He sent me a picture, and his mouth isn't open, so that's very unusual.
Hello, Smiley.
He's always acting like he's surprised about something.
You treat him like that? Yeah, I mean.
Nah, man, he's a hell of a guy. Honestly, he's a swell dude. He really is. So I'm glad he's listening, and he is listening to the Pacer coverage from Jeremiah Johnson of Pacers TV tomorrow night. It is Utah and the Pacers, and then on the road for a game on Sunday night at 8 o'clock in Denver, and then back home once again. Pleasure as always, JJ. We appreciate. Are you going to go see Brooks and Dunn at the Fieldhouse tonight? You going to do the boot scoot boogie?
I am not. I don't know that I have any wild plans, but I'll not be headed downtown. If I was downtown, I would have joined you at Coach's today, but just staying up north, cleaning up some debris in the backyard.
Do you have some damage at all?
Not really. It's just branches and leaves and such. And I guess there was a lot of power outages, but by the time I got home last night, at least in my house, everything was back on.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. Good to hear. It really is. If you were here right now, too, we'd be getting you drunk. You know that, don't you? You'd be getting
only
drunk.
If you would have eaten food at Coach's. I don't know. I'm with Brent on this. You got to eat every once in a while. You got to splurge.
Yeah, right?
No, I don't. I'm feeling good. Hey, by the way, too, I don't. So I asked Buchanan. I texted Chad, and I said, hey, we're at Coach's today. Why don't you bring your ass over here? And he's up at Hamilton Southeastern watching the Chipotle finals. What the hell is that up there? What the hell is that about that he's watching? Because Carmelo Anthony is up there right now.
Yeah, I think it's some kind of high school basketball best of the best prep school tournament. So was it Trent Sisley, the IU recruit?
Yes, the former Heritage Hills standout. Santa Claus, Indiana representing up at Hamilton Southeastern. But I think he said he was up there.
I would love to see, I don't know that they could pull this off. The Indiana State champion of regular schools should be allowed to try to compete and see what they could do against one of those prep school tournaments. Wouldn't that be fun?
Why wouldn't they do that? That's a good point.
Because they say it's the high school basketball national championship. I mean, you're not including, the guys that are from the same community that work together and play. I mean, I know Fishers finished runner-up, but I'd love to see Fishers go take on Montverde and see what happens.
Well, listen, give Sharon Wilkerson all the credit in the world. That was a badass game. And really, when you think about it, it's probably one of the better finals games that we have witnessed over the years right there. In 4A or really in any class, it was outstanding.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch too much of it given the Pacers game at Oklahoma City, but I trust and respect. Shout out to Kyle Nedrip, who's on your show quite a bit, and he wrote an article about the best ones he's seen, and he put it, I think, at the top of the list. So I see no reason to argue with you, and I'm glad as an IHSAA supporter that it was a really good game, and really all four games were close and competitive. So it was a good day for high school basketball at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and let's say Jeffersonville or Fishers, I'd love to have either one of them play a game at HSC this weekend and see how they could fare.
My brother, I appreciate you as always. You know that, too. Have a great broadcast tomorrow night. We'll catch up next week.
All right. Take care.
JJ's right there on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You know Dave Smiley very well. His mouth, I showed you that picture. The mouth is not even open. He doesn't act surprised.
Well, you know what?
He and Will and Nikki, every time they get a picture, and Tony, they always have their mouth open.
Well, you know what? They're happy. Maybe it's a start of a smile.
Like a big surprise.
It's a big surprise.
Surprise.
Smiley's got his big prom coming up next weekend.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
The Smiley prom.
The Smiley prom.
That'd be kind of fun, I guess, wouldn't it? The Smiley prom?
Minus the whole getting dressed up thing like that, yeah.
Did you have fun at your prom in Seymour?
Yeah, I did.
I did too.
The after prom or whatever happened.
We were at the Frangie Panty Room in the Indiana Memorial Union at IU.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
It was a good-ass time back then, too.
I just remember we always got hotel rooms and ended up eating at Waffle House.
Let me tell you about how little Johnny here tripped the light. Fantastic.
Ooh, come on now.
I love my proms.
Come on now.
Carl went stag.
Carl.
Carl was a loner right there. Hey, quick break. We'll come back. Billy Shepard, former Indiana high school Mr. Basketball, friend of this show, going to join us next. Brent rejoins as well. Tommy S., Coach's Tavern downtown. Thank you very much for joining us. I've got a lot on my mind. We will get to that in Mike Chappell at 5, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Ride with JMV.
You take drugs, Danny?
Every day.
Good. So what's the problem?
I don't know.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
No problem on this show right here. Brent Halverson, Heaven Hill Distillery. I'm John. Thank you, John. Hey, listen, we're lucky we're on the air here.
Listen to that.
Because Carl's the engineer.
Let's just take a moment right here.
Hold on a second. Talk it out, Brent Halverson.
Gray by The Grateful Dead. Ooh, nice call, James.
What band are you going to go see at the Vogue?
Steely Dead.
Steely Dead.
Buddies from Colorado are coming in to play at the Vogue. And Kelly, our good friend Kelly Eisenhower, Ike and Rory are going to be opening up.
I love Ike, man. Ike's a great dude.
They're going to be opening up for Steely Dead. So Steely Dead, John, they play, it's a collaboration, a little bit of Steely Dan, a little bit of Grateful Dead, and they'll do a Hey 19 into Shakedown Street, into Sweet Charlemagne, it's unbelievable. So Steely Dead coming up at the Vogue, and I can tell you what date that is here momentarily.
Yes.
Because it is a do not miss show.
Why don't you just take somebody from the show? Why don't we get caller 9 at whatever number we're on right now? Because it's temporary.
The burner phone says.
The burner phone hotline, and take somebody with you. Roll the dice and take somebody with you.
The show is April 25th. April 25th. Mark that down at the Vogue. Kelly Eisenhower opened up for
Would you
Steely
roll the
Dan.
dice and take a listener to this fine show with you?
I would love to buy him a drink while I'm there. How about that?
Look at that.
Hopefully I can make it.
Hey, James, man, make sure that we're on the same page with that a little bit later on because we're going to put our money where our mouth is right here. How about that? What do you think? You guys cool? James, can you do that a little bit later? Yeah. I think Brent Halverson needs to take a listener to this incredible program every afternoon with him.
Every afternoon.
To see Melon Cougar.
Come on, move on in.
Melon Cougar. There's one like that too, Melon Cougar, right? Is that a band that plays Mellencamp songs?
It is. There's also
Melon
the
Cougar.
American Fool Band, which is my
really?
good friend Brian McKenna and Jason Stahl.
Melon Cougar is pretty damn funny. Though,
Melon
let's say,
Cougar, yeah. American Fool Band, though, is the band. They're going to be playing up in Mystic Waters coming up for the Mudsock Fest. In August.
Mudsock. Shout out.
Absolutely.
Fishers right there. Mudsocks. So Brent rejoins us in a second. Coach's Tavern downtown. We'd love to see you. Cocktails are a-flowing with Heaven Hill Distillery, but on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Former Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana. Friend of mine. We have met a number of times at one of the best places of all time, Workingman's Friend. Billy Shepard is here with us. Hello, Billy. How are you?
Hey, doing great, JMV. You doing all right?
Man, I miss you. You know, on a daily basis, I think about our good friend. Seriously, on a daily basis, I miss him.
I know. I mean, R. Miller, it's hard to believe our friend's been gone for a few years now.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I will say this. Jake Query is across the bar from me right now at Coach's Tavern, and we both agree. I cherish those moments. I talk about the Workingman's Friend, and I've said this before. We had those legendary moments where he would invite me with you guys to join that crew at Workingman's Friend for lunch, and you know, Becky would be out there. I mean, it's iconic. And then you would hear R. Miller hold court. I mean, those were some of the most incredible days of my recollection. I would not have missed it for the world, and I miss it dearly.
Well, for sure, and I miss hearing him on your show. I mean, he used to throw all kinds of bad publicity at me, but that was beside the point, So.
It was. Billy Shepard is with us. So tell me a little bit of something about the event. You got some local players involved. You and I are going to be involved as well. That is on the way coming up here.
Well, yeah, the gift of life, it's I guess what you would call a partnership between the Rotary and Riley Children's Hospital. And, of course, there's a lot of doctors and surgeons involved from Riley that donate their time and surgeries in actually an underprivileged country. So, it's an event to raise some money to really help the underprivileged and save young people's lives.
So Billy Shepard is with us, and I love the event, too, because it is a lot of local flavor there. You know, yourself's going to be involved. You got some of the now. I think Braylon Mullen's going to be involved from Greenfield Central. Guys from the past like Rodney Scott. I mean, it's a who's who, athletically speaking, for decades, and I think that's really special.
Well, it is special, and I really, what I'm looking forward to is maybe you and Mullins getting in a 3-point contest.
Well, do you think that Braylon Mullins could play in the Sunday morning pickup games at either Southport or Center Grove that I'm involved in? What do you think?
Well,
how do you think he would look in those games?
I'll tell you what, that kid's got a heck of a game. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Well, you would know. You would know. Does his game remind you of anybody in particular, Billy?
Well, he's a combination of a lot of guys that I've seen over the years. I mean, he's got a great basketball body. He's got size, so he can shoot over people. He's got great range. He's athletic. He's just he's the real deal. I mean, you don't go to Connecticut on your good looks only,
No doubt about that. Braylon Mullins and Mark Zachary benefit on Saturday, April the 19th And I think I'm going to participate at the H&H Fieldhouse in Fishers at 11 a.m. in the three-point shooting contest. But I mentioned, too, you got a lot of names here that are involved. Billy, you're one of them. I mentioned Rodney Scott, Roosevelt Potts. We know him from back in the 90s in that particular Colts era. A lot of really good athletic names across the board involved in this.
Well, it is. A lot of guys giving their time and for a great cause. And, I'm just glad that, I was included, and I'll be out there for some fun and games, not to shoot jump shots anymore, but maybe I'll analyze guys shooting and give my thoughts.
Don't break my heart here. You still play, don't you? Don't break my heart and say no.
Hey, that goal looks like it's about 12 feet.
I tell you what, hey, Billy, honestly, and I suck, and I've always sucked, and I'm never going to be any good, but I love it so much. I guarantee you this, one of these days, and I don't say this, I do kind of say this in jest. One of these days, they're going to have to bring the paddles out on me. I think I can only play in the facilities that have paddles available here. One of these days they will, because I love playing. There's something, I can't go a week without playing because it absolutely grinds at me. I have to.
Well, it stems from your days being around Mark Bonheiser, wouldn't you say? That's where it all started?
Yes.
Well,
Billy,
Mark,
yeah.
I mean, he knows how to develop kids into loving the game of basketball. And those early morning gym times where, you have open gym and the kids come in and play, I mean, you don't do those things at 6 and 7 in the morning unless you develop a love for the game.
I don't know have you seen the Dusty May, The Journey on Big Ten Network, where he talks about that?
I have not seen that. I've heard about it, but I have not seen it. I've got to make it a point to watch it. But yeah,
100% accurate. And I'm gonna tell you what, he has been to me, and he did not coach me up, Billy, but he has been to me the most motivating force into loving basketball as anybody ever. And he wasn't even my coach. That is the type of impact or effect that he would have on you. And it is weird because not everybody, and really very few, have this. He gets you to love the game and want to be a part of it. And I think what he does, Billy, the most is he gets you so pissed. He wants you to beat his ass. I mean, you don't think of anything else outside of beating his ass. And that's it.
Well, that stems from, when he was at LaPel and he'd come over to Carmel and David and I would give him a few lessons, on how to win games. And so we go back a long way. I mean, Mark is he is a basketball junkie, and you got to love him for it, And his boys are, tremendous players because they were around him. And he's great for basketball. And, those kind of guys don't come along very often. They really don't.
Well, they don't, too. And the people, obviously Braxton is the first, and the second was Brooks at Northwestern. And all you had to do is know how long that Brooks played through that foot injury and did not want to shut it down when they made him shut it down. I mean, he was just the ultimate in-gamer, and that comes directly from his father. I will always have a level of respect for Mark for giving me this deeply rooted love for the game of basketball. Because, again, and I've been around it all my life, but never at that particular level. And Billy, you would know this because you have been around it. From your father to your brother, your entire family has been nothing but basketball, and you get it. And when you get it at that level, it is just different from any other. It is.
Right, and I just, last night I watched the Boise State Butler game, and Mark had a kid playing from Lafayette, Jeff. It's a junior. He played at Indiana Wesleyan in his first 2 years, was an Indiana All-Star, and I swear he was the best player on the floor last night. And it was because of his instincts and just overall knowledge of the game, and those things come from playing at 6 and 7 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, it is absolutely. I mean, I think about guys, from my high school, Eastern Green, like Dusty May, the head coach of Michigan, or, those at Perry Meridian when he was the coach at Perry Meridian. And here's what's funny about that, too. He still does that today. He's as hardcore today as he ever was. And there's some legendary stories. But I appreciate you bringing that up because that is really what has built my love of basketball right there, Billy.
Right, and kids develop at different stages in different ways, and everyone is influenced when they're growing up playing this great game by somebody, and Mark's had a big influence on a lot of young men, and there's other coaches around there the exact same way, that have the influence and have developed the desire and the ambition of young players, and that's why Indiana's still the greatest state around to play high school basketball.
It is. That's Billy Shepard with us. Again, I'll rehash the event that we're going to be a part of coming up in a second. But I did want to mention this. It's funny. I think about this in terms of myself. Like, I don't think I would have lasted being coached by him because I was too big of a wuss. But when I got older and more mature and understanding of everything, that's when I would have wanted to be coached by him. And I've always looked back on that, and if there's ever any regret I have is looking back on that and wishing that I had that drive and that understanding at a younger age and not, taking me outside of high school to truly understand what it takes to be at that level good. And that was the understanding from him. But if I were playing for him and not knowing anything as a high school player, he'd have probably run me off, Billy.
Well, you think that. I mean, in hindsight, you think that. But I think that the smart guys that are doing those things, they recognize talent. They recognize the good in someone maybe instead of what they can't do. And I think, that's what makes great coaches. Not every player is skilled in every level of the game. I mean, some can shoot, some can pass, some can defend, some can rebound. But very few can do all of that. So the good coaches, they find what you do well, and they live with that. And I think Mark's that way now. It's not that he takes the other things not seriously, and all good coaches are that way. Very, very few. If you want to find something bad in someone's game, you probably can. I mean, if you look at Brady Smith and you watch him play long enough, there's probably something there that you don't like. But overall, I mean, what a tremendous player. I mean, it's hard to nitpick. So I guess the only thing you could say about him, he's a little small. Well, it doesn't affect him. He plays at his speed. Guys can't speed him up. And it's just, good coach. Painter's a great coach. He figured out a way to use that guy. So
Braylon Mullins, Mark Zach,
people wanted it. So.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Braylon Mullins, Mark Zachary, the benefit Saturday, April the 19th. And former Mr. Basketball, just a legendary name of the state of Indiana, the last name Shepard. Billy Shepard's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I don't suggest there's probably too many people out there that have been the teammate of Julius Erving and coached by Wilt Chamberlain. How many of those are there out there like you?
Well, I was one of the fortunate ones, that's for sure. So, kind of be in the right place at the right time.
Tell us a story about being a part of the Virginia Squires in the ABA.
Well, that was my rookie season, so I tell everyone I had the best seat in the house watching Dr. J play every night. That year I didn't get a lot of playing time. I was a rookie out of Butler and still trying to improve my game, even though I had success there. And I think that, just being a part of that and seeing the work process and what the great ones do every day in practice probably helped me stay in the league the next couple of years, to be honest. And also took away from Dr. J, that, great players can be great people as well. And he was definitely one of those. I mean, I watched how he treated the coaches and how he treated the fans and how he treated his teammates. And, he was just a class act from day one when I was there. And it was, a privilege to be on the same team with him. We had Dave Portick was on that team, one of the guards. had Jim Akins that was a longtime ABA player, and a great coach in Al Bianchi, which was probably, Bianchi's style was a little bit like Barnheiser, where, he would holler and scream and jump on referees and had high expectations. And, Dr. J and a lot of my teammates, as well as myself, we were willing to accept those things. And it was a fun year.
Hey, man, it is always good to talk with you. I can't wait to see you. That's Saturday, April the 19th at the Braylon Mullins Mark Zachary benefit. And it is going to be a hell of a time. The H&H Fieldhouse in Fishers, 11 a.m. And you're going to be a part of that. I'm going to be a part of that. Some incredible names. Hey, Billy, man, come back on here again soon because I love to pick your brain on basketball and talk it all up. High school, collegiate, your days in the ABA, the NBA as well. But it's an absolute pleasure, and thanks for your R. Miller reflection because some days I need that, and today's a good day.
Thank you for having me on, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon, buddy.
You got it, buddy. Thank you. Billy Shepard right there, the former Mr. Basketball of the state of Indiana. Just an incredible family. And a great event. I'll remind you of that because I'm going to be a part of as well coming up here. I believe that's in a couple of weeks, maybe a week and a half or so. I'll tell you all about that coming up, too. Brett Halverson rejoins Coach's Tavern downtown. Thank you for joining us. Mike Chappell coming up after 5. Flaming Lips, Modest Mouse. We got tickets for that show at Everwise this summer, too. Hey, don't go anywhere. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
with JMV.
I want you out in front of the school with her. I'd like to have a few words with you, by God.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, I'll let you know. Billy Shepard and I are going to be a part of this event coming up here with Braylon Mullins and Mark Zachary Saturday, April the 19th. I'm going to shoot some threes. I'm going to whip some ass, too, because I'm feeling good. Feeling incredibly good. Carl's the on-site engineer, Coach's Tavern downtown. Brent Halverson, Heaven Hill Distillery is here. Not only, Brent, you can tell everybody out there I'm looking good, too, right?
Looking great,
Feeling
my friend.
good and looking good, by God.
I'm just going to get you a couple biscuits to eat.
I had hard-boiled eggs like Cool Hand Luke a little bit earlier.
Why don't you, let's get you a couple, I tell you what, their food here is awesome.
I love it.
The French dip sliders, the Philly cheesesteak, all the food here is good. We just
They
need
have
to get
cottage cheese on the menu?
You know what? They do have. I had some cottage cheese, but we're going to get a sandwich with it for you, bro. Going to get you a sandwich one of these days.
They do.
You look great, man.
Listen, you talked to Covers.com, Jason Logan, a little bit earlier. We learned anything about these national title tilts?
You know, that was great. I mean, I love talking to a guy like that. He knows his knowledge, right? He just has it right off the top of his head. Talking future bets that he's got in. He's talking about the spread. That's why I was curious on what he was thinking about on those totals, because that's the hardest thing. And when you get down to the Final Four, you got two games, right? So you're going to go hard at two sides for each of the game, but you got to get there with those totals a little bit. And that Houston squad and their defense, and hearing him say the same thing, it looks like the unders are the way to go. It's just always hard to take an under as a bettor.
Let me tell you this. I need Auburn and Houston in the championship game for Diamond Madness with our good friend Dan Moyer, Moyer Fine Jewelers, and the Heaven Hill Distillery Bar Restock.
John, I wish you the best of luck, but I just don't see it happening, man. I don't see anybody taking Duke out. I really don't.
Yeah, don't doubt the guy sitting right here in this plastic-ass chair.
You're sitting on the throne, baby.
I got to sit in a plastic chair because I don't have any ass left in these wood chairs.
You could sit on a thimble right now.
Seriously, I got to get one of those. I always wonder why people sat on cushions. I got to sit on cushions now because I got no ass.
You need to add a little cushion back there.
I need to add a little ass.
That's what you got to eat,
know.
bro.
I don't even know if I'm going to have to. How do I work out to get like ass muscles?
Well, they call that there's a glute thing that you can do in the gym.
Carl, you work on your ass muscles over there?
No, not at all.
All right. I got to work it on. That's problematic.
Well, you can just sit there and flex them all night. You know?
Brent on the other side, Mike Chappell coming up too. Coach's Tavern downtown. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday. A country music extravaganza at Gainbridge Fieldhouse tonight featuring Brooks and Dunn. Another hour of us right here as well. Sit tight. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Damn right I've had a good time so far today. Jason Logan, Covers.com. Jeremiah Johnson, Pacers TV. Man, the awesome Billy Shepard was on the show a little bit earlier. I love talking hoop with Billy. Podcast 1075thefan.com. That's Brent Halverson. I'm JMV, Coach's Tavern downtown. The incredible Clayton Anderson is in the house. We'll talk with him a little bit later on. I guess he's going to go do some boot scoot boogie. Right, Brent?
Might be. Might be. We'll have to ask him.
Boogie.
I
had no idea Brooks and Dunn was the greatest country duo of all time.
You know, you asked that question.
What about Flatt and Scruggs with the Beverly Hillbillies song?
Give them a run for their money, I guess, right?
Now, would Buck Owens and Roy Clark technically be duo, or are they just hee-haw duo?
That sounds hee-hawish. Hee-hawish.
Can you believe all the people in here going to see that concert?
You know what? That's what makes Coaches such a great spot. I mean, it is right here, right there. So anything going on over at Gamebridge right there, and there's a lot of stuff.
I will tell you this, man. Country shows bring the smoke.
They really do.
They do.
They really do.
We may make fun of country shows or Nickelback, but both bring the smoke.
It's always amazing.
I may go see Nickelback this year just because of the smoke. True story.
So, just to kind of go off here, what the Google machine tells me here.
Please.
The top duos, country duos of all time, Brooks and Dunn, Loretta Lynn, Conway Twitty, and the Judds.
Loretta Lynn and I didn't know they were together.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I always think of Loretta Lynn as a solo artist.
Yeah, I do too. But
and
that's
Conway Twitty.
That's what the Google machine says. So you nailed it. You nailed it, man. You're killing
the Judds, right there. How about where's Flatt and Scruggs on there too?
I didn't see that on the list, John, but it's got to be up there, right?
I always thought that Buck Owens and Roy Clark with one's picking and one's grinning would be really good. High on that list.
It would be. It would be. You know, there's some big shows. Speaking of country, a lot of country shows out at Ruoff this year,
oh my God, because people around here love it, and the smoke comes out.
The smoke does come out. And
Jason Aldean, I don't know a damn note of what he sings, but the smoke is out.
But you know who is opening up for Jason Aldean is Nate Smith. And Nate Smith, I've had the pleasure to meet and get to know. He's an awesome dude. And so I'll be checking that one out. And then Chris Stapleton. I've become a little Chris Stapleton dude. He's got two big shows out there. And, we're doing shuttles up at Mystic Waters for all those shows.
Well,
come on out.
Not only Mystic Waters, we got to think about that. We've got to do a live show down in Brown County.
That's
at
right.
Terrapin Station.
We do need to make that happen. We should get with Christian Webb down at Brown County Music Center.
Right.
They got a lot of good music down there too. Yep. So we find a good night, good weekend, and we'll roll a Friday show into a weekend Brown County show with Christian. That's what we need to do.
Hey, Carl, you ever wonder what it was like when the host of a show stuck his finger in the light socket like I'm about to do right now?
Try it.
Would Tony Katz do that?
No.
Probably not.
He would use it to light a cigar.
Yeah, he would do that. Yeah, Brent Halverson, JMV here, and we're at Coach's Tavern downtown. Thank you for joining us. Clayton Anderson a little bit later on. I think Jake Query is over there as well. Our guy Thomas Hilbert from Premier Weight Loss is there. But on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline from CBS 4 and Fox 59, which gave you exceptional storm coverage last night between Brian Wilkes and Chris Wright. It's Mike Chappell who joins us now. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm having a great time today. I'm curious about this. I know that they're trying to paint this as a portrait of a quarterback competition. Is it becoming more and more that as the days go along, and especially what was said between general manager and head coach down in West Palm Beach? Or is this still all about the evolution of Anthony Richardson here?
Yes, on both of them. It's obvious you're going to be a hard sell all through this, and I understand that. I really do. But they've painted this from January as an open competition, and that tells you a lot about their concerns with Anthony Richardson. You don't pay $14 million for Daniel Jones if you were really, really sold on your guy. So this is sort of an insurance policy. But now that you've done this, everything they said, and it was reinforced at the owners' meetings, which I didn't attend, but I was able to listen in on Ballard. and I read Steichen. So that's what they're saying. Now we're going to see how this sharing reps goes. We're not going to sit there, at least I'm not, and say, well, that's today it was 50 reps for AR and 42 for Jones. I'm not doing that. But our eye test is going to tell us, are these two guys getting what reasonably is open competition and sharing their reps? And you can tell. You can tell by the eye test. And that's what it's got to be. And the question is going to be is what are they going to use as a barometer, as a gauge? You can tell some things from OTAs and veteran minicamp and all that stuff, but it's semi-football. You're not really pressuring the quarterback much, and the DBs aren't really hammering the receivers, so it's a step above like 7-on-7. When we get to training camp, more so, and then the preseason games, which were 3 preseason games, they'll have to decide. And again, I think we'll see. I think we'll know by what we see on how we think it needs to go. These guys will look at it more in depth. But no, they've charted this path, and it's for them to do anything less than to be legitimate open competition would just fly in the face of everything they said. So I'll take them at their word until we see differently.
Hey, my theory is you'd mention every rep, every moment during training camp or OTAs. I think that's what we're relegated to. I think that is the button they continue to push right here, and that's problematic because I think we know what everything relies upon. And Mike, my point has been all along, if they don't believe at this level in Richardson, which I guess through their dialogue they don't, why are we blanking around with all this crap right now? Why is there not a reboot? Why don't we wipe the slate clean? What are we doing?
Boy, they just you're talking a complete reboot. You're talking from Jim Murphy.
Yes, and I know that Shane Steichen probably gets a little bit more leverage than certainly Ballard does or Richardson does, but not really. I mean, when you look across the board, to me, if Jim Irsay were the Jim Irsay of a couple of years ago, mid-season with Jeff Saturday, this would be a wipe slate clean situation right now.
I don't totally disagree. The only thing that I'm going to argue, and I don't mean to defend what's going on here, but they see this 22-year-old kid, I think he turns 23 next month, and they see Baker Mayfield, they see Sam Darnold, they see Geno Smith, where it took guys longer for a lot of reasons. And there are reasons that Richardson has not emerged. Injuries, yes, and if those continue, then it's not going to work. But what really, really hurt him was going through the shoulder surgery and then spending the last off season rehabbing and not working on playing quarterback. That set a quarterback back who needed every rep and off-season rep he could get, and he didn't get them. So in that regard, I understand not just saying the hell with it. He's had 2 years. They weren't even remotely ready to do that, and that's what a reset would have done. It would have been, this isn't working, and there's no reason to think it's going to work. And I kind of believe that if they'd have pushed the reset button, it would have included Shane Steichen, because you would have had a new GM coming in and saying, oh, by the way, this is your head coach. And that's not the best way of doing it. So I just think they're sort of, I don't want to say they get their fingers crossed, but they're sort of hoping against hope that with a full off season of working in Florida, that and the lights got to go on. The lights got to go on internally with Richardson, that this is the level of commitment I have to my position to be a top quarterback. And it's just different than other positions. I mean, DeForest Buckner and Zaire Franklin and Kenny Moore, those guys work their butts off in the offseason. They do. Quarterbacks have to do that and more. They just do. So, and part of the problem has been Richardson's. immaturity, whatever term you want to use, that's been part of it. So they just have to believe that the light goes on internally and really focusing on playing the position will make a difference this offseason going into this year 3. Because if not, and again, I've contended, and I still contend that, yes, it's going to be open competition, but Richardson needs to win that open competition or you're really messed up as a franchise, because I don't know what you do at the end of the season, this coming season, if Richardson is not your guy. I don't know where they go. I don't know how they go forward. So they're really banking on Richardson coming, staying healthy, understanding what it takes, and then playing the position better. If that happens, they've got a chance. If that doesn't happen, it's going to be a long couple of years to get this thing set up the right way.
To Mike Chappell of CBS 4 on Fox 59 on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I think you and I may have had this conversation before, and I think you disagreed with me. But I thought it was magnified this week, and I thought the lead was buried a little bit because I was hoping that Jim Irsay would speak. I was really hoping that Jim Irsay would be there and speak.
Right.
But certainly speak, give some sort of dialogue about anything going on with this team right now. And he didn't, and we'll see when that ends up happening. However, I think I brought up with you before that the next time out, there's going to be not just a general manager and a head coach, but there's going to be a player personnel director, i.e. mouthpiece. They're going to have to add to that because Jim is just simply put not going to be able to be that, and there's nobody able to step up. I think we disagreed on that point when I brought it up about 6 months ago. I thought maybe the fact that Jim was unavailable to speak, we didn't hear from him earlier this week, kind of magnifies the need for that. You agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think for different reasons. But no, he needs to make himself available, and several of us. I mean, I've pressed to try to get him to talk, and when he's ready, he will. He's still working his way back into shape physically to get his mobility back, and that's very, very important to him. Maybe the next possibility is the draft. Many times we get the owner on that. I think it's on that Saturday. Maybe Sunday. I think it's Saturday of the draft. They file us into his office, which is colder than hell, but it's fun to be in there. And he's available. I think that's missing, and you're right. There are things that need to be asked and answered that Chris Ballard can't because he's not in position to do it. So, yeah, at some point that's missing. It is. There have been some major decisions made, and other than the thing they put in on social media, we've not really gotten the owner to comment on it, and certainly not with any to where you can ask follow-up questions or whatever. So, yeah, and until he talks, it's going to be an issue. And the next possibility is at the draft. So hopefully that happens. And again, I've put in several requests to talk to him, and he's just preoccupied with other things right now, which I understand. But there are still questions from a franchise that I'm not saying he owes the media. I mean, we're the conduit, but he the fan base needs to know what's going on and how things are going and why this, why that. Hopefully, again, around the draft, we'll have that opportunity, but that's just a guess on my part.
Do you agree with me, though, that it is necessary and that if he were feeling the way that he did, obviously during, and I made fun of it too, and now I kind of look back on it, I wish that Jim Irsay was back again.
No,
that things would be dealt with, and things would be dealt with a different fashion. Yeah, I do. I mean, I do, because this is going nowhere fast right now, Mike. I mean, it just really is.
I understand that, but we don't want it where decisions are made because not really thought out and all that. The owner, it's his team. He makes the final decisions, but you don't want knee-jerk reactions to things. And a lot of what went on that year, that's what it was. But you've got you've always had a stronger argument than I have about blowing it up, just starting over and blowing it up. And I'm still one of those guys clinging to the hope that Richardson is the guy, because if he is, then a lot of your problems are settled. The problem is, I don't have a lot of evidence to say, and this is why that's probably going to happen. I don't. And you've got evidence to say, why would you think it's going to work now? It's the old definition of insanity, doing the same things and expecting different results. That's sort of what I guess I'm bordering on insanity, but I didn't feel like, maybe as I'm a minority, I wasn't in the group of blow it up and start again, because then you're already asking a very impatient fan base to say, hey, listen, stick with us. We know what we're doing. When a reset's going to take you 2 or 3 years. And again, if this doesn't work, it's going to take you those 2 or 3 years again. And your roster's gotten older, and Jonathan Taylor will be gone, and Quentin Nelson will be gone. And so that's why the blow it up, going nuclear, the ripple effect of what it does with the entire team changes. But I totally understand your argument, and your argument is stronger than mine is. It is. I'll concede that. I'm just not ready to go scorched earth yet. Now, if we get to September and both of these quarterbacks look like garbage, then it's going to be a tough year.
I'm telling you, and I hate to say garbage because they're NFL quarterbacks, but either one.
Speaking, yes.
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden we expect these guys to be something different than what they have shown us to be over the course of a couple of years. I mean, who in the world? There's not enough smoke in the world for me to get stoned on that belief.
I bet there is.
There might be. Hey, Brent, what do you think? You got some smoke on you?
No, John, I don't.
But
you might be right.
You're
Maybe
right.
there is. Maybe there is. But anyway,
you're banking on Richardson, the light going on, and all of a sudden him completing 50% of his passes and all that, and staying healthy. And Daniel Jones, getting things together. I think there's more of a chance, and this isn't going to help things going forward either. I think there's more of a chance of Daniel Jones looking really good and grasping that second chance. Minnesota wasn't a second chance; it was just a place he went to. But I think there's more of a chance of Daniel Jones being that next Sam Darnold type guy, not Baker Mayfield, but Darnold. Mayfield to where you're playing winning football. To me, there's more of a chance of that than of Richardson being the guy that they envisioned. And I hate to say that because again, Richardson needs to be the guy. But I wish I had more evidence to say, and this is why I think Richardson can do it. There's too many signs. There's too many things that say it's too much of a hill to overcome. But again, we'll see. I think we'll know early on, and it won't be from us talking to him in a couple of weeks when they open their programs. It'll be what we see in the field. It'll be what we see in OTAs and what we see in training camp. Our eyes will tell us if he's still throwing the ball in the dirt or missing wide open receivers. But boy, he looks great on those deep balls. We'll see that, and I hope we see a difference, and I hope that translates when they start playing in September. If he's the guy that that stuff sticks with him and he doesn't revert to what went on in the past. So yeah, I wish I had better evidence to support my case than you have with yours, but I don't. And it's never a good thing to state your basis on, man, I hope this works, because that's pretty weak, and that's sort of where I am, because Richardson's not giving me enough to say, man, this is the guy and this is why. He just hasn't done that.
Mike, I appreciate you more than you know. We'll do it again next week. See if we're any different here.
Be well and find something really good to smoke.
You got it. Mike Chappell of CBS 4 Fox 59. Brent Holverson rejoins, ironically enough. So does Tommy S. And Clayton Anderson is here. Quick break, we'll come back. Coach's Tavern downtown. Don't go anywhere. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
What the hell's Kevin Bowen talking about Daniel Jones being naked? I don't want to hear any more of that. Hey, James, man, can you go ahead and lose that promo right there?
I might have to send a message out.
Listen, I don't think I'm alone here. I don't want to hear about Daniel Jones naked. It's Carl. I'm John. Tommy S. is here. Brenda's here.
I don't want to see myself naked, okay? Let alone Daniel Jones.
I kind of dig seeing myself naked, Tommy S. I can't lie.
You know what? You should not have said it on the radio, John.
Oh, really?
Oh, you do look good. You look great, though. I know. He's like, hey,
I do.
John was all this way.
Can you, hey, just think about me like I'm in that scene from Silence of the Lambs right there.
Oh, the tuck.
Me.
The tuck.
Is Michelle leaving on me right here? So that's
you
me.
practice the tuck move?
Oh, yeah. Well, if you don't have to tuck.
Clarice.
What if you don't have to tuck? So, no. Great scene, by the way,
Where
too.
did we just go with this show?
I blame you guys. I don't blame me.
It's all Kevin Bowen's fault.
Latest in Kevin Bowen's
Naked Danny
direction
Dimes.
right there. And naked Daniel Jones from Kevin Bowen. We'll get Clayton Anderson up here in just a second, too. We're at Coach's Tavern downtown. Busy show. Hey, by the way, Carb Day coming up. Tickets available. All-American Rejects. Brett Michaels. Make sure you're a part of it because we are going to throw you an incredible party on Carb Day. Incredible. Get your tickets today. Be a part of
your
it.
broadcast out there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've actually tried to.
right?
Jason Hammer and Nigel and I talk about this all the time. We kind of want to do it together one of these days. Like the Carb Day
I think
this
that'd
year.
be fantastic.
Did I hear
Yeah.
you're going to be in an RV this year? You're not going to sleep in your truck?
No, and I've heard, and Michelle just left, right? I've heard that maybe the JMV takeover will happen in the Coke lot on Saturday night.
Ooh.
Can you imagine that?
Look at that.
goodness.
That'd be a good time right there.
Get your bleep out for all the bleeps.
The bleep out, the debauchery.
It'll be debauchery, that's for
Here
sure.
he comes right now. That's Tommy S.
Clayton Anderson.
That's Brent Halverson. Clayton Anderson must be going to. Are you going to see Brooks and Dunn tonight?
Oh, yeah, by golly. Brooks and Dunn's in town. My buddy David Lee Murphy, I've been writing a bunch of songs with. He's over there. I try to get him to come for a cold beer, but, you know,
Where is it? Go get his ass right now.
Well,
Tell him to get his
sometimes,
hillbilly ass down here.
sometimes when I get with my friends before a show, the show don't go so good. So he's on a big-time professional level tonight. I'm just
now, what is that song, that his famous song?
Oh, there might be a little dust on the bottle.
Yeah.
Don't let it fool you. Now, that's a famous one. And he's got, I'm looking for a party crowd, slamming the back, knocking something out loud. But my favorite one is, because I might be a little crazy, well, might be a little bit loco, baby, but a little bit crazy's all right.
Yeah, you sound good.
Well, you know.
This guy, a professional singer, he should be one.
If I wrote this song about leaving the barn door open, I'd probably have a major hit on my hands.
Who was the guy that said that was an awful title to a song?
Well, I don't want to call out
Was it
names.
Scott?
Scott Borchetta said that's awful, and just
What a
because
little
he thinks he
pipsqueak.
runs Nashville doesn't mean he.
Well, he does, doesn't he?
Well, he pretty much does, yeah.
Does he really know?
Yeah, I tried to race. I said, why don't you and I race go-karts for a record deal? And when we were out at the Indy 500 track, and he said, no,
out.
it's okay.
See, I thought that was the ultimate double entendre right there. I'll leave my barn door open.
Yeah.
Because it's got a little bit of country. I'll leave my barn door open, and then my barn door is my fly.
That's right.
What the hell's wrong with that?
You go both ways.
What the hell's wrong with that title?
And when you're a country kid down there in either Greene County or Morris County, sometimes you got to go up there in the barn door just to have a good time up in the hayloft.
Sometimes I just leave it open accidentally. There it is, wide open. But, man, he shot me down right to my face.
Well, he ain't from southern Indiana. That's his problem.
Dang, I was pissed off.
Yeah, you're Bedford, right?
I'm from Bedford.
I'm a Seymour kid, so we're down in the
I tell you what.
So Hoosier Hills Conference right there.
HAC all the way. Go. I tell you what, I never cheered for Jeffersonville Red Devil my entire life, but I was no offense to Fishers, but that was pretty cool seeing HAC have a little success again in the state championship. But Seymour has one of the greatest basketball gyms I've ever got to shoot the basketball in.
But their teams always suck really bad.
Second largest one in the country.
That's right.
Second
Why do
largest team in
teams
the
always
country.
suck, though?
Well, they didn't back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Denver, North Lawrence.
Well, they had Damon Bailey shooting them down over
Bailey.
there, man. My gosh.
I just, every time I go to a game in Seymour never plays.
Oh.
Not true anymore.
Oh, that's fighting word.
When are they ever going to play in a game like him? Damn it. So, yeah. The Hoosier Hill Conference, that's nice. Though.
Yeah.
When was the last time an HHC conference team won?
This year. The Jeffersonville Red Devils won this year.
When was the last time?
Oh, before that was, I think, well, Jeffersonville hadn't won it since 94.
Floyd Central?
No, Floyd Central's never won it, I don't think. I don't think they ever. Did they win it?
Did they win
With
the Pat Graham win?
Did they? I think they got shot down.
I thought that Pat Graham won once.
I thought Marion beat them. Maybe not. They beat us. They beat Bedford. Used to. There was a time when HAC was in every state championship game there for a while. You had to go through us, and then when class basketball came in, ruined everything. You had. I mean, there was one team from HAC going somewhere. Whoever got out of it was going to at least go to semi-state, but.
So, Boot Scoot Boogie, do you do this song?
Out in the country past the city limit sign where there's a honky tonk. If you want to get real country, just hold your nose. Yeah, come on. Every night when the sun.
Do it. Do it for everybody.
People on the radio hear you. They got outlaws, music and smoke. That's where all the cowboys go to coaches and Boot Scoot Boogie.
There we go. Yeah.
Hey, it's mighty fine singing in there, everybody. Mighty fine.
Hey, man, Brooks and Dunn, the most popular all-time duo in country music?
Has to be, hands down.
Where's
I mean,
Flat
the Bellamy brothers might be my second.
Where's Flat and Scruggs?
picking on a guitar somewhere. I don't know.
What about the Judds?
Oh, well, now that was something now.
That was
Judds. They were pretty good, too.
I like Ashley the best.
Yeah, she was
But
the
she
prettiest.
kind of seemed like she's a bit of a pain in the ass.
Well, you know, she wasn't ever friendly to me out there at the Indy 500 track. She just kind of walked right by.
I'd have to ask Dario Franchitti about that.
Uh-huh. You know, maybe he left her for a reason.
Probably.
I don't know. But, yeah, Brooks and Dunn's got hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. You can just go down the line. They have so many great songs. Neon Moon, yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and they got that what's that one song I love singing? I saw the light, I've been baptized by the fire in your touch, flame in your eyes. That song.
Look at that.
I'm a brand new man. That's a good one right there too.
God, I love this place. Is full of hillbillies. God, this is great. All right, this is like my
feels like you're back home, don't it?
It's like Greene County just showed up at Coach's Tavern here tonight. This is beautiful right here. Hey, what's up with you, man?
Oh, almost out of this record deal snare, hopefully. We're,
is that a good thing?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, it's going, yes, because I've been hog-tied for about a year and a half. Ain't been able to put out music, ain't been able to do anything. And so once we're through with that, we'll be able to get back to work. And then we're going to open up some country bars in Indianapolis, which is going to be the dumbest thing I've ever did.
Go ahead.
So are we at liberty to talk about that? Because I've been talking with Steve a lot, and we're going to be getting together here real soon. And I'm really excited. We all are.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff coming here, my friend.
I hope we can bring a little taste of Nashville to Indianapolis. That's what I would really love to do. And I thought we were going to have one bar open by tonight, and David Lee was going to come by and sing a song. So that would have been cool. But I think for me, it's also about giving back, and we got so much great talent here in Indiana.
Yeah.
Let's get those guys on stage. Let's have them play music and not have to worry about going to Nashville. And honestly, I've seen the blueprint of what they've done. It's a convention town that hammered country music, and if we can hammer some country music, and I'm going to turn into a politician. I'm going to be over here getting Tom dragging me to politicking meetings over here saying, let's get more conventions and let's get more people. Let's get more. It's awesome to have the volleyball teams and everything in here, but let's get more partiers like the firefighters. Let's get more. Yeah. Let's get more fun stuff.
Well, Tommy and I were talking about that a little bit earlier. We just want to see everything filled down here.
Yeah, too. Tired of seeing boarded up windows. Right. And it's good to see some more small businesses down here and just bring people downtown. And I know you're doing one in Broderpool, but Broderpool needs a little help right now. and we're looking forward to rebuilding that. So
Yeah.
When the city does good, everybody does good. I mean,
Absolutely.
It's a collective.
What's that thing? The ships rising tides
Lifts
raise
all ships.
Yeah, that's it.
What?
Absolutely.
Ships?
Rising tide lifts all ships.
Rising tide.
Because I mean, this stable here, if you get it all going, everybody's going to do good. The more people we flood down here, the better. And what Tom said, Broad Ripple's had such a long drought. And Mass Ave was so popular and new, I feel like it's a perfect time to say, hey, let's make Broad Ripple great again and make it when I was a kid, getting drunker than a skunk, having a good time.
Hey, man, I peed in the sink so much in Broad Ripple. Who peed in the sink?
How many of us went to La Bamba's at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Hey, man.
Bro, I miss it.
I apologized to Rob Sabatini, but I know I peed in his sink back in the 90s a ton. I couldn't help it. I couldn't hold it.
To our good friend Steve Whitland, so
yes,
he's out of the business now. He's
he
a good life.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And Steve does a great job over there.
Steve's
too.
awesome, man.
And I love the fact that you're going to set roots up there and then downtown, because we love this place, and that will help bring these places back that have suffered in the past 5 years, and we know the magnitude of which they've suffered.
Absolutely. It has been tough on live music. I don't know if it's from Yellowstone or from whatever, but for the past, Pete, I don't want to give my age away, but for 15 years I've been trying and screaming live music, and now all of a sudden kids want to hear a live band again, and that's so exciting that they want to hear live music. And what I want to strive to do is be consistent, so we have live music all the time when we're open, whether it's a guy banging on a piano, whether it's an acoustic guy, whether it's whatever. It's live music, live entertainment. Nothing wrong with my friends that are DJs, but let's get live music back and going and strong.
You're not hurting my feelings, brother. You're not hurting my feelings
Hey, if
at
you've
all.
never seen a Clayton Anderson show, folks, he puts a show on.
Oh, thanks,
I'm
Tom.
not just saying that because he's my buddy and he's always in here, but I love watching Clayton in person. His band, they're top notch. So,
by the way,
looking forward to it.
Hey, CA, Sam Clodfelter is absolute smoke-tacular.
Smoke show. Sam's a smoke show.
Why wasn't she invited to the show today?
Well, by God, she was invited, and she turned it down. You can ask.
Oh wait,
hey, listen.
Sam, you're putting false information out there. You were
Smoke is
invited.
always invited. There's an open invitation for Smoke. Is there not?
Sam, you're always at you know Coach's Tavern. Why are you not here?
See, Tommy S. knows Clodfelter too.
Oh, we love Sam.
I'm mad at Sam now.
Sam,
yeah, she got invited. Hannah sent her a text message. You want to go to the show? You want to go to the country show?
Hannah's pretty awesome, by the way.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. I got lucky. I don't know why she tolerates me, but
does she put up with a lot?
She does. She really does. She's sitting over there right now going, why the hell am I even
What am I doing here?
Yeah. Hey, I got lucky. And she's a smoke show, too, over there. By God, she got her cowgirl hat on, all looking all. You know what? By God, she don't put me on that Hank FM website enough, though. By golly, my friends give her all kinds of crap about that.
They play your music there?
No, heck no, they can't do that.
Why can't
that's
they?
Political. That's
Hank FM political?
That's controlled. That's controlled by the record labels. But by God, I appreciate the radio station everybody listens to the most over here. So I appreciate it.
What?
I get the tune spun.
By the way,
It's political.
You can find Clayton Anderson on Amazon Music. You can download all his albums.
Yeah.
I got him on my personal list, and I love it.
The Struggle Bus with Tommy S.
The Struggle Bus. I love it. I'm just driving around, coming downtown to work, and I'm on random on my Amazon, and Clayton Anderson is my buddy right there.
That's cool. That's awesome.
And he's actually on Touch Tunes, too. He's
Yeah.
on the jukebox.
Yeah, by golly, Deepu over there, he plays it all the time on Touch Tunes over here, coaches.
I saw you're going to be in Speedway on Carb Day.
On
Carb Day night.
Carb Day night. We're going to fire it back up and let it rip. We're looking for some sponsorships, everybody. So if you want to sponsor, we got to pay for the stage and the sound.
I know a guy.
But yeah,
I'm coming, man. I'll be there.
We need a couple more sponsors, but we're really looking forward to that. That's been incredible. Last year we still had about 15,000 people when it rained 5 times. And we probably would have had about 40,000 people out there last year. That would have been really, really cool. But hopefully this year we'll get good weather.
Clayton Anderson right there with us at Coach's Tavern. We're downtown. Brett Hulverson, Tommy S. Where are you going to be next?
Oh, I don't know. Probably driving up on Saturday. Going to go to Bedford, play a little private show tomorrow, see my family a little bit. My grandma, she's getting ornery. So I got to go check, make sure the fence didn't blow down on the winds last night. East Olytic down there in the bottoms.
There was.
Luckily, when you're in the bottoms, there's a good thing about being poor and there's a bad thing. When you're down there in the bottoms, the wind goes right over the top.
That's right.
There was some weather that went through.
We did got it.
County
we got a
last night,
tornado
yeah.
last night. I went down to Hiltonville. Luckily, I think everybody's okay that we know. But
hopefully, Damon Bailey's family's all okay down
statue is still standing. Statue is still standing down there in Hiltonville.
They still have that store open, the Hiltonville store.
Boneheads store. Yeah, they sure do. But we going to do that, and then Saturday going to probably drive up, listen to you, my favorite radio program.
You love that,
no offense to this radio program, but my golly, I mean, my gosh, I swear to God, I've told you this before, but when my sister had a heart transplant, February 2024. You getting me home every Saturday night was a big lifter-upper, and I look forward to it. I called in, and thanks for taking the calls, because DJs don't do that anymore.
They don't.
The radio guys don't do that anymore.
Now, there's
so
a reason why
cool.
we're live in there, because you can't do it any other way than that. Right?
It was really cool, and it really, in a tough time for our family, that really got me
Larceny
through.
Bourbon, double shot power, by the way. When they ask for that, you know how gratifying that is?
That's great. I love hearing that.
That's so
That's
good.
awesome. Yes.
So, Clayton Anderson right there, my
Thanks
brother.
for having me.
Hey, as we get closer to May, I'll be over there with you in
All right.
Speedway for that, too. We'll talk it up.
Let's get them going.
See y'all later. Right there. Coach's Tavern downtown. We'll come back with Tommy S., with Brent, with me. I think Jake's going to join us as well, my man. Thomas Hilbert's over there as well. Quick break. We'll come back. We're live at Coach's downtown. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
Did anybody knock anymore?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
I got a show for you right here. All right. I got to make sure I have this number right because it's temporary. James tells me the temporary number is 317-972-3005. 317-972-3005. You better hustle ass. Flaming Lips and Modest Mouth coming up. That's in August, Everwise Amphitheater downtown, 317-972-3005. Hey, James, are you getting calls right now? Did somebody fall, or was that a chair right there?
I think a sign fell.
Wow, man, I thought that was a dude.
Entirely my fault, I think.
I'd rather that be a sign than a dude.
Gosh,
Although I think I'd laugh more at a dude.
Sorry. I'll move over to this side.
Hey, James. James, are people calling right now at the number? Do I need to give it again?
Give it one more time, but we are getting some calls.
Hey, Numbnuts, 317-972-3005. That's the number to call right now if you want free tickets. If you don't, then whatever. Everwise Amphitheater, Flaming Lips, Modest Mouth, Brent Halverson, Tommy S. Jake Query is here.
Welcome, Jake.
Jake, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great, man. I'll tell you what. So, for so many events, the Big Ten tournament, you know, Shannon's like, I'm like, what do you want to do? She's like, we got to go downtown, go to coaches, soak in the atmosphere, just the feeling of being downtown. And then to come in here, I mean, it's like a party, obviously.
It's full of hillbillies.
You guys bring it. I love it.
It's full of
hillbillies.
Jake, it's full of hillbillies in here, man.
The hillbillies know how to party.
Awesome.
That's cool, right?
Hillbillies do know how to party.
Nothing wrong with that. You guys are having a good time.
From
I like
experience. You talked to Thomas Tilbert over there a little bit earlier,
I
you?
did. Really good dude, man. Really good
I
guy.
talked about with him, and I got started from trying not to be a big fat ass, and you are talking about a heart situation.
Correct. So, you know, obviously, John, what you've done in your journey, and you know, the weight you've lost, the way they've helped you out with that. There's a lot of research that those are also great for just your cardiovascular health. And you know, I take it upon as a mission for myself to make sure that everybody's on top of that, because after what I went through, I want to try to help people out for making sure that they're not in a situation of being in the same boat. So a lot that we can do with that, and I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be good.
I think it's amazing, right? I mean, I've met him we were at the depot, right? And I had a pleasure of meeting him. Great guy. And look what you've done. You're down, 80 pounds now?
170. I'm in the 170s for the first time
It's amazing,
since 1985.
That's got to be great for the health, right?
Enough's enough.
You think I need to shut her down?
Every time you turn sideways, I can't see.
Yeah, we got to get you a couple biscuits, bro.
John runs around.
Let's get a big platter of burgers from Coach's Tavern tonight.
Oh, God, I love
they're really good.
Coach's Tavern food, by the way, Brent. Shout out to it.
Oh, shout out to that. I had the French dip earlier, man. You can't get by it. It's awesome. Everything here is good, man. Everything here is awesome.
Tell me what you got going on this weekend here.
Well, I want to first say, you know, Jake and I are fellow North Central alums, right?
Oh.
Hail our Panthers. That's right.
Watch out now.
Jake was a senior. I was a freshman. And Jake had this alternate personality that he would get on the PA. Jethro T. Bodine.
That's correct. I used to do I did the morning announcements. It's Jethro T. Bodine.
Did you?
You're the one guy that remembers that. Yeah.
Wow.
That was one of my favorite parts. I think it was Mondays you did that because you went over all the
athletic events. Yeah.
Exactly, which is why you're so obviously in sports radio. But no, this weekend, I mean, we got everything. We got Brooks and Dunn tonight. We got the Pacers tomorrow. We got the Final Four on Saturday. Is anything going Sunday? Oh, we got the women's Final Four championship Sunday,
Yep,
right?
that's right. Absolutely.
NIT final tonight
NIT
with
final,
UC Irvine and Chattanooga tonight at the Fieldhouse.
Yeah. We got a lot going on.
And then Monday rolling to the big
into
final
the
game,
national
right? National championship game. That's it.
Hey,
Absolutely.
I got to thank you guys for having me out, because otherwise I'd be in studio and be bored out of my mind.
How cool was that for Clayton Anderson to get up here? And did you hear everybody here just light up as soon as he started singing? That was great.
Well, I mean, look at all the
He got the
rednecks
voice
in
of an
here.
angel.
He does. He really does.
Wow, the rednecks in here love that stuff too.
And hey, thank you to Brent Halverson and Heaven Hill for making this happen.
Oh, thank you,
Michelle
Tommy.
Kiefer right there. I reached out to
We
her.
love Michelle Kiefer.
We love Michelle Kiefer.
We love Michelle Kiefer.
I reached out to her because I was like, I need a JMV back in my bar. This is before
Yeah.
Bud Light said, hey,
Yes.
let's have them. So now I've got you
Hey,
two
on Carb Day night, Michelle doesn't know yet, but I'm passing out on her front porch.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's right there in the
I'm
shadows,
passing out
man.
on our front porch coming up on Friday of Carb Day. Jake?
By the way, Brent,
Yes?
Yes.
You know Jake's girlfriend loves me?
She does.
Everybody does.
More than
I
she
mean,
loves me.
deeply
Everybody
rooted
knows it,
love.
too. That's the other
Everybody
thing.
knows it, right, yeah.
So, Brent,
Yes,
last year I started golfing for the first time. Never touched a golf club in my life.
Yep.
And it started in March, went out, started hitting it around, took lessons, the whole deal. Best round of golf that I had. Afterwards, I said, we got to get a photo. It was my best round. I went back and looked at the photo. I'm wearing a golf shirt. Guess what it says?
Elijah Craig.
Larceny Bourbon.
Larceny
right there.
Bourbon. Already better. All right.
I think that's the reason, buddy. You guys, you carried me through, right?
Well, you got to put a little swing juice in you too, right? So
that's
that always
exactly
helps
right.
it out. That always helps.
Relax the swing a little bit, right?
It. Absolutely.
And
It's
shout out
key
to
it.
Thomas Hilbert of Premier Weight Loss. I've lost 80 pounds, and I've drank like a fish, boy. Let me tell you that. Seriously.
Has
there ever been a show where we haven't had cocktails together?
Not
Come
at all.
on now.
We
Man.
wouldn't have fun. I mean, well, we
Come on,
would,
there's
but
no wow.
no, we've enjoyed responsibly, right? And we're going to continue to have a little bit of fun.
Man,
too.
thank you guys.
Hey, thank you. Thank you,
Tommy.
I saw Tommy
My
right
brother,
here.
thank you
Oh,
very
man.
much.
Cheers.
Knuckles all around, boys. I just dropped something else. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm breaking stuff in
Hey,
show business,
can you believe
John.
we're still on the air because Carl's the engineer?
Well,
Seriously.
Hell, Carl's done great, and I'm over here breaking all this stuff. I knocked the camera down.
Carl, he knocked the camera down. You got Tony Katz tomorrow morning?
Yes.
How boring is he compared to us?
He's not boring at all.
No. Is he not? Kind of.
Showbiz knows who signs his checks. John.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, buddy.
Showbiz.
James, back in the studio. Thank you very much. You guys have been awesome. Thank you, Brent.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Tommy S.
Always good to have you here, JMV. Have a great weekend.
Query Company noon tomorrow. Carl, great job out of you with Tony Katz on WIBC tomorrow morning. I got to thank everybody for joining us. All of our guests today, unfortunately, back in studio tomorrow, but a good show nonetheless. You guys have a great night, or join us down at Coach's. We'll be here for a while. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Have a great night.
Yep.